Good Saturday night, everyone. We have a tornado warning that has just been issued for those of you in Lincoln and Moore counties in Tennessee, and this is going to go in effect. Let me get you the time on that. That's going to go in effect for the next hour. So until 12:30 a.m., we now have a tornado warning for those of you in Lynchburg, Moore County, and all of Lincoln County, including the Fayetteville area. It's for this thunderstorm right here that has had a history of producing a tornado earlier in the Florence, Muscle Shoals area. It's reportedly done some damage, and it was caught live on camera by one of the weather pages from around there. So this is definitely a serious situation here. Now at this point, it's not on the ground, but there is radar indication of a possible tornado. So let me read you the latest on that, and I'll pull the actual warning up here off camera. But let me show you here what it says. It says, a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles west of Ardmore or 13 miles north of Athens. So Ardmore is about right here. Athens is down here further south. It's moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. This dangerous storm, here's some time frames for you. This will be near Ardmore around 11:35, Fayetteville around midnight, Lynchburg around 12:20, and Timms Ford Lake around 12:25. So that will be moving into parts of Franklin County by 12:30. Also, if you are in Elkwood, Howell, Elora, Hurdlow, Mimosa, Smithland, Hollingen, Legtown, Coldwater, and Blanche, you should be also taking cover as well. So again, this is the main area of concern right now. You see this hook right here near the Elkton community of Giles County. It's getting ready to cross I-65. And this rotation was looking weak a little while ago, but now it seems to be trying to tighten back up again as it interacts with this outflow boundary. So again, where you see this red and green right here, getting ready to cross Highway 21, there in Giles County, Tennessee, this is going to move off to the north and east from there, heading towards the Delrose community of Lincoln County, past just south of Frank Ewing. And eventually this is going to move up here towards Kirkland, Park City, and the city of Fayetteville, including the downtown area. So if you are in Fayetteville, this will be in your area in about 30 minutes time. But don't wait until midnight. You need to go ahead and get down the lowest level near the center, away from windows. If you had a basement, terrific. If you don't have a basement, go into an interior room, somewhere that's just away from windows, and wait until this thing passes. Now we also want to go up here real quick so that way I'm not leaving anybody out. There's also another severe thunderstorm that's going across northern Coffee County and going up into Cannon and portions of Dekalb and Warren counties. Now the good news is this storm up in here has looked a little weaker as of the last volume scans, but there is a severe 60-mile-an-hour winds as this moves off to the east, and I've been looking at velocities here off camera. Thankfully, I'm not seeing any rotation in this. This is mainly a heavy rain and damaging wind maker as that moves from Cannon County and into portions of Dekalb and Warren counties of Tennessee. So heads up in Smithville and McMinnville, this is heading your way here over the next 30 minutes to an hour. And if you're back here towards Shelbyville and Murfreesboro, the worst is east of you. You're done with this storm. This is moving off to your east. But back to the main area of importance, considering this is a possible tornado that's had a history of a confirmed tornado. And I forgot to mention here, there was also a confirmed tornado that happened across northwestern Limestone County, which is right down in here, east of the Lexington area. There was also a confirmed tornado that law enforcement saw, and also Doppler radar saw a debris signature in there as well. So again, it's not on the ground right now, but again, it could touch down again at any time. So if you are in Lincoln and Moore counties, please take cover immediately and wait this thing out until this storm passes. And the warning again expires at 12:30 this morning. So again, if you are in those areas, make sure you are taking cover until this passes. Let me make sure that's sharing. There we go. So again, let me check debris here real fast and make sure we don't have anything there. Thankfully, no, I'm not seeing that. What you see down here south of Elkton, all that is down in here is just a false echo. But we'd be looking about right in here, where this kind of curls a little bit right in here, to see if we have any kind of blue or green. Now, it does look like we do, but thankfully it's not organized enough to really call it a debris signature, thankfully, so that's some good news there. But again, it's just something we have to watch here over the next little bit here, just to ensure that we don't have anything that tries to stir up or anything up in there. So again, that's the main area of concern right now. So for those of you, again, Lincoln County, northern Madison County, now this does include Hazel Green, but it does appear that I believe, in my opinion, this is not going to be an Alabama issue anymore. This is going to be squarely a Tennessee issue, and specifically a Lincoln County and Moore County issue. And if it does hold together, it might make a run out here towards Coffee County, may clip Bedford, and it may also impact Franklin County here down the road. So you're not out of the woods out of this whatsoever. Hopefully it'll weaken before then, but we got to be prepared, though, in case we may have a possible tornado in the area. So it's just something that we just got to keep in mind of. So again, sirens are probably going off in these areas. I'm looking at some of the comments here. Sirens are going off in the Tullahoma area and such. So there is the possibility that there could be a tornado involved in this storm. Now the hail size is also increased back out here towards the Elkton area too. And again, we're still seeing some evidence in here. The new velocity scan just came out as it's crossing I-65. Still seeing some evidence of circulation in that as that moves off to the east and northeast. And it's moving towards Delrose. There's State Route 274, 110, passing north of the Taft area. And eventually, it's going to go out here towards Kirkland and pass pretty close or just south of the Highway 64 corridor. Again, Highway 64 here runs approximately here from Fayetteville over here to Pulaski. But again, the big thing here is, right now, Lincoln County, you all are under the gun right now for a possible tornado. And there's also a lot of lightning in this thunderstorm. This is a very electric storm, and unfortunately it does appear that this circulation is tightening here just based off that scan. I'll loop it here. You see there, that hook has become a little better defined right there. So again, these storms go through cycles. Earlier it was looking like it was weakening after it went through Florence and produced that tornado. And now unfortunately it seems to be recycling again. So as I said, everybody out here in western Lincoln County, if you know anybody in Fayetteville or down towards Park City or up towards Petersburg or anywhere in Lincoln County, tag them in the comments, share it to them, anything you can. And considering it's 11:37 at night, a lot of people are probably asleep right now. So if you know anybody out here towards Elora or Fayetteville, Mulberry, Lynchburg, Park City, down towards Taft, and up to Petersburg, make sure you can either give them a call, tag them in the comments section, do something that makes sure that they are aware that there's a tornado warning in effect until 12:30, and there could be a possible tornado. So what I'm going to do here is give a storm track here, and we're going to base it on the movement of the thunderstorm here that could be producing that tornado. And the movement here is to the northeast at 45. So what I'm going to do here is give a track on that, and we're going to track this pretty much through Lincoln and Moore counties. We're just going to stick to Lincoln and Moore for now, considering that's the immediate zone. So it's going to be moving into the ball at 11:39, Coldwater 11:48, Molina 11:53, downtown Fayetteville around midnight. This says 12:02. Want you to be ready a little sooner than that, so probably about 10 minutes sooner there in Fayetteville. Be in your safe place. Howell Community 12:02, Belleville there at 12:08, Kelso and Mulberry around 12:10. Boonville there at 12:14, Lynchburg, downtown Lynchburg around the distillery there at 12:20, and also Lexi Crossroads and Beach Hill around 12:23. That's for this tornadic storm. Again, there's your estimated time of arrivals over here on the right, and this goes all the way out through 12:15. So this is the whole territory it's going to cover here. Now, eventually, if this does hold together, and we're talking pretty far down the road here, so this can change. This could potentially impact the southern end of Coffee County. So think Tullahoma, Arnold Air Force Base, possibly as far north as Manchester, down through Hillsboro. Heads up for you. Also, if you're in Franklin County, think Huntland, all the way up here through Belvedere, Timms Ford, Winchester, Cowan, Sewanee, up here towards, of course, the Deckard area, Nissan plant, Alto, and up towards Estill Springs. Here's your heads up. You may have to deal with this thunderstorm if it holds together. Now, I'm hoping it will weaken between now and then. But again, we got to respect this, considering this has had a confirmed history of producing tornadoes and tornado damage. You got to take this seriously. So definitely got to keep an eye on things. Now, there are also some other thunderstorms too to the north of this. North of 64 up here towards Bedford County line into Bedford County itself. So Shelbyville's getting a pretty good downpour right now, but nothing severe there. Manchester, you're getting in on the heavy rain pretty much right now. Same with Tullahoma, but this storm isn't severe. Again, you just got to keep an eye on this cell down here to the south and west as it tracks off to the north and east. Now, I do want to reiterate here real quick and want to emphasize this does not involve, currently at this time, this does not involve Chattanooga or Cleveland or Jasper or Grundy County or Northeast Alabama or Northwest Georgia. You guys right now are good, and it's going to be a while before these thunderstorms can even go your way. Now, I do anticipate as this line moves in that we will continue to see a weakening trend with this line with time as it moves off to the east, as the environment is just not near as favorable. Now, with that said, there's always that chance that a little surprise can happen, and sometimes you can get a spin up in this kind of situation. So you still want to be on guard, even though right now the chances further east or lower for severe weather, they're not exactly zero. So I really want to emphasize that for those of you in places like, we'll say, the Scottsboro Valley or Grundy County or Van Buren or down to Scottsboro and points east towards Chattanooga, Cleveland, and North Georgia. Your threat's a lot lower, but it does not mean it's zero, so something to keep in mind. Now, the good news here, I have seen this rotation here. It is broadening out as it crosses I-65, so that's a good sign here. This is looking more like a linear, straight-line wind situation as opposed to a tornado, but again, as we've seen with this thunderstorm, it has a history of cycling. It goes through these cycles. It may look strong, and then the next frame, it may weaken again. So, again, definitely getting some pretty strong winds in here. I'm going to query some of these winds here and show you. Definitely seeing some 50 to 60 in this. So there's that possibility of some pretty strong winds here, and that's damaging wind. That's severe gust wind moving into Lincoln County right now and clipping the far northwest end of Madison County in Alabama. But as I said, though, Hazel Green, this is not going to be a problem for you. Same with Newmarket or Huntsville. This is well north of you. This is going to be all a Tennessee deal. Also seen some indication of strong wind up and down this line here, stretching up here through Lynchburg, Tullahoma, Manchester. No rotation or anything, just some strong wind. And by the way, they did cancel that severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Dekalb and Cannon and Coffee and also Warren County. But the good news is that warning's been canceled. So you guys are no longer under a severe thunderstorm warning from Woodbury to McMinnville up to Smithville. Your warning has been canceled because the storm has shown signs and it is weakening. It's gone below severe levels. Yes, it's still intense with heavy rain, lightning, and possibly some gusty winds, but the good news is you are not involved in any severe warning anymore. If that changes, of course, I will let you know. Again, so that means the square focus now is going to be on this tornadic storm. I mean, look at the lightning in this thing. And what I'm going to check out real quick here, because I'm seeing a hail core in this. Let's check out and see how strong that hail core is. And that's definitely an indication. So where you see this red right here, close to the Frank Ewing area, so right along 64, that's the exit that's out there. And it's going to move pretty much right down 64 and head up towards the Delina community and up here towards Belleville there in the north side of Fayetteville. There could be some small hail involved in this thunderstorm as well. So that's the area where we're looking at for the possibility of hail. So anywhere in this yellow and red is what you got to watch out for hail as that moves into the Lincoln County area. And then, of course, when we look at the velocity scope, this is an indication of where there could be rotation. Now, again, the rotation is fairly broad. It's not very strong. And what I'm seeing here is a pretty good strong push of wind, basically going right up and just north of the Alabama-Tennessee line and tracking right towards the 231-431 corridor that runs between Hazel Green and Fayetteville. So if anybody's out there traveling, they need to pull off and either get in the ditch or find another safer building to go into and wait until this passes. You do not want to be out on the road in the middle of this. So again, now if you are over here in Franklin County, and if you just don't feel safe where you are, whatever that is, if you're in a mobile home or something, if there's a place that's like right down the street from you, that's not far, that's not more than maybe a few miles away, now would be a good time to go to that. But you gotta make it quick here because this storm is moving very quickly at about 40 to 45 miles an hour, so it'll be there within the hour. But right now would be a good time before the warning is issued that if there's somewhere you can go at Sturrier that's only a few miles away, I would go ahead and go there, especially if you're in a mobile home. So we don't want you to be in any kind of unsafe structure here when this thing gets to you. So before it gets to you, this is your heads up here that you want to go ahead and get that done now before the storm gets there, because it'll be there within the hour. So again, this is the main area of concern right now, where you see this red and green out here. So crossing over, pretty much that's Highway 110 there in the southwest part of Lincoln, moving up here towards State Route 274. And eventually this is going to also move over to the Blanche community, so Cash Point, over here down to State Line Road, up here to Yukon, Camargo, Coldwater, Kirkland. That's Old Huntsville Road over here. That's also Highway 110 that continues all the way up to the north. Molino's also in the path of that, Pearl City. And then also, now you get up here towards downtown Fayetteville, you guys will be next in line too. So Lincoln Medical Center, down to Liberty, down towards a Kid Lane, Balcom Road, Molino Road, and then up here towards the Southgate subdivision, Park City, Prospect, Fayetteville Airport, Woodlawn subdivision, Bellevue, Eastwood Estates. These are all these communities I'm calling out here are in the path of a possible tornado. And I went all the way out here to 231, 431 here. So everybody in these areas has a heads up and can go to their safe place. Again, just make sure you're on the lowest floor, near the center, away from windows, preferably in a basement if you don't have that. Interior room, interior bathroom, closet, hallway that's away from outside walls. Just somewhere that is good and sturdy will do you in this situation. And the good thing with this is this would not be a big tornado if it were a tornado. Now, of course, a tornado is a tornado, but the good thing is it's not one of those tornadoes that will obliterate your house. Thankfully, this is one. Even it's a smaller tornado, it can still do damage, but this is one of those situations where you can be able to ride it out in any kind of shelter in this kind of situation. Thankfully, so you can ride it out in a closet or bathroom as long as you are near the center and away from windows and outside walls. Just make sure you're doing whatever you can to protect yourself, and make sure you're doing that to keep yourself safe. So that's the good thing here. So again, I can't say for certain and can't guarantee if you're going to be hit by a tornado or not. But what I'm saying here is you could have the possibility of a tornado here. And for those that may be just tuning in here also, please also share this video out so that we get people aware as much as we can here and let them all know what's going on. Again, I'm not seeing any other additional signs of rotation in any of the other storms. They're basically all elevated up to the north, and in other words, they've all been undercut by outflow. And I do think with time, with the way this storm is directing here, it does appear it's going to try to start moving more to the north. So hopefully it will do that, because it will actually, because when a storm starts moving more north, in this case, it would actually mean the storm is occluding. In other words, it's choking off its rotation, and that would be a good thing to see. So hopefully this thing can start doing that here soon. But again, let me see if I have a velocity update here. And so far, that's delayed by a little bit, so we should get it here pretty soon. But again, there's right in here, and you can pretty much tell by the reflectivity here where if a tornado forms, where it'd be right down in here where you see this little notch. And unfortunately, the problem with this is you will not see this. So let's say if you are in Park City or Fayetteville or Flintville and up towards Lynchburg, you would not see this tornado coming because it would be wrapped in rain. In other words, you just wouldn't see this. Rain-wrapped tornadoes, and especially at night, are the worst. So do not go outside looking for this. Just go into your basement, go into your shelters here until this passes. Again, what I'll do here is also give a heads up here. Again, for Franklin County here real quick, just in case the storm were to hold together. And here's a new velocity scan here real quick. Again, there's your red and green meeting, south and east of Delrose and north and west of Taft. And it's moving off to the northeast at about 45 miles an hour. Let me see if the NWS has an update on that real quick. Let's see here. It says here, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles northeast of Ardmore or 11 miles southwest of Fayetteville, and it's moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So they went ahead and gave some updated arrival times here. Fayetteville around 11:55, Lynchburg around 12:20, and Timsford Lake around 12:25. And again, other locations impacted include Elkwood, Howell, Elora, Herdlow, Mimosa, Smithland, Coldwater, Blanche, Fisk, and Lincoln. So those are the other locations in the path as well. So let's go ahead and give this a storm track here, since we know the movement now. It's moving northeast at 45. And we'll track this out to include parts of Coffee and Franklin here and give an early heads up to those areas. So again, Fayetteville, this is pretty much on your doorstep right now. So 11:58, you got less than 10 minutes to get in your safe place. Kelso here in about 12:04, 12:07 in Mulberry, Locksmill 12:08, Smithland over there at 12:10, Lynchburg downtown 12:17, Lexi Crossroads 12:18, Winchester Springs there around Timms Ford Lake at 12:28. Again, that's if it holds together that far east, and that's the uncertainty here. Tullahoma downtown around 12:30 if it holds together. Estill Springs and Winchester 12:31, 12:32. Deckard at 12:35. Rutledge Falls 12:38. Cowan at 12:38. University of Usa down in the Sewanee area around 12:45. Betsy Willis and Hillsborough around 12:49. So we're getting into and closer to the Pelham area. So if this storm holds together, at least the thunderstorm itself, that's where it will go, and it will go into Franklin County, Coffee County, and possibly maybe even Grundy County if it were to hold together. But I'm hoping by that point it will be a lot weaker. But again, this is where, if there is a tornado here, that's where it's going to be, right in here. Due west of 231, 431 in Lincoln County, Tennessee, east of I-65. So again, this will be east of I-65. So those areas are in the clear from this storm. And areas further west are also clear, but right in here is the main zone of concern where we could have a possible tornado. Now here's the new update from the reflectivity. Got a pretty decent hail core in here, so there could be some marbled, maybe penny-sized hail involved in this as it moves towards the city of Fayetteville and here, and eventually up Highway 50. So this is also going to go up State Route 50 and head up here towards the Mulberry and Lynchburg areas with time. So you may also get some hail in this thunderstorm, along with some very strong winds that could be on the order of 50 to 60 miles an hour. And that's without a tornado. But if you do get a tornado, of course, the winds will be a little higher than that. But again, the main area of concern would be right down in here where you see this notch, and that's where your possible tornado is. And drawing a line from that, here's pretty much where that's going to go. That's going to pretty much go right up here through Park City, clip Fayetteville, up here towards the Kelso area, and eventually up here to the southern tip, and the southern half, I should say, of Moore County, and past mostly north of Huntland. It does look like Huntland's probably going to miss out on this the way it's looking. So if this storm does actually hold together, it may actually miss, the worst part of this may actually miss Huntland just barely to the north, but don't let your guard down, because again, these storms, when they do strengthen, what can happen here is if they strengthen, they can turn to the right. So if it turns right, this storm will threaten. But if it were to occlude, it will stay north. So that's just some heads ups there for those of you in the Huntland area. And this is going to go pretty much right up and down this area, right along the Franklin, Moore, Lincoln County lines. And now I do believe that this will not affect Lewisburg. This will not affect Shelbyville up here in Bedford County. This is going to stay south of you. So you'll get a lot more rain for sure up there, but you're not going to get any kind of tornado or anything up that way. If there were to be a tornado, it's going to be in this corridor here, and where the tornado warning is, and eventually if it were to hold together up here into Franklin and Coffee. But again, I'm not seeing any other storms right now that gauge any kind of concern. All this up in here is from Manchester and Tullahoma north. This cell up in here, this line I should say, this is actually non-severe, just some good soaking rain, some gusty winds up in here. Cookville's getting some heavy rain here shortly. Sparta's about to as well. But again, this right in here is non-severe at this time. There's also some more downpours developing here over portions of Bledsoe County, Van Buren, over here towards Ray and Meigs. But these are also currently non-severe, just some good old-fashioned downpours. And all of this down in here, I'm also encouraged to see that a lot of this down in here from Athens, Alabama, all the way down to Moulton, this is also non-severe down in here. So the only real severe thunderstorm right now, and this is the one that happens to be also potentially producing a possible tornado, is the one in Lincoln County on the far western edge of our coverage area. So here's a new velocity scan update I just got, and the good news is the rotation continues to be broad, and they just updated that warning again. So let me see what they're saying there on that. But again, the good news is the rotation's broader on that end, but they're keeping it in effect. So let's read this out. This is a new one. This is not a new one. This is the update. It says a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado as of 11:54 p.m., so pretty much right now, It says at 11:54 p.m., a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado was located near Fayetteville and is moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. And it says hazards of possible tornado. It's radar indicated. Again, Fayetteville, it's in your area right now. Lynchburg and Timms Ford Lake around 12:20. So again, nothing much has changed on the rest of that. Again, here's some very good tornado advice here. Move to a basement on an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid all windows. If you're outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. That's what I was referencing earlier with the mobile homes. If you're out in Franklin County, I mean, if you want to be on the safe side, you need to make sure that you find a substantial structure that is the closest to you, not something that's, more than a few miles away. It's got to be somewhere close, so that way you don't get yourself caught up in this. So, again, hopefully it'll weaken before then, and you won't have to be there for too long. But the good thing here is I am seeing signs that this continues to weaken, and really, to me, this is really looking more like one of those straight line wind signatures that would produce probably some tree damage and some other stuff too. Probably some tree damage, maybe some power outages. I mean, something of that nature. But again, we still got to keep in mind here that it could still produce a tornado at any time. Now, I know this may look a little interesting up in here. It does. Just northwest of downtown Fayetteville, there's a little bit of red and green meeting. Now, let me see if I can co-locate that with the reflectivity. And, yeah, there might be a little rotation up here, too. North of Elk Mill Millage, up here towards Wilkes Road, Lynchburg Highway. Crescent Community, up here towards Clack Mill Road. And now here towards Mimosa Road. Here's Winchester Highway right here. This is Highway 50. That's Lynchburg Highway. So there may be a small circulation aloft here, just on the north side of downtown Fayetteville. And so it's north right here. So it's north of Pulaski Highway and moving north from there. So north of the medical center, and that's moving off to the north and east towards Mulberry and Locks Mill and Mimosa. So if there were to be a small tornado, it would be up in those areas. Again, I don't know why this is delayed here all of a sudden, but I'll have to refresh that in a minute. But again, right down in here is also maybe another indication where there could be a small tornado up here around Woodlawn Subdivision, over towards Three Oaks, Howell Mill, Lincoln, Bucks Mill, Quarter Crossroads, Park City, Fayetteville Airport, and eventually out here towards Kelso and Flintville, Vantown. Vantown may be in line for this. And this part of Lincoln County does have a tornado history dating back to 1974, 2014, 2011. So this area is known for having tornadoes over the years, and so this storm is heading into those areas. Now, the good thing here is I'm not seeing any indications of a major tornado or anything, thankfully. But again, one could form, even though it looks weak right now, one could still form out of this line at any time. So again, there's always that chance. Like this one up in here, a little weak rotation up in here, moving up towards Wilkes Road. There's towards Clarkville Road, and up here towards the Highway 50 area. So this is south of Belleville, south of Petersburg, and moving northeast from there. And here's the other, and there's possibly two more here. Here's one over the Kirkland area, possibly. Definitely a strong wind signature, but that could also be a little weak area of rotation in towards Park City, and eventually out towards, and then it's going to cross 231, 431, and head towards Quarter Crossroads, is what I should say. Down in here, north of Elmwood Section Road, up here and towards Woodlawn Subdivision, another possible little area of spin, but definitely some strong gusty winds. Now, eventually, this is also going to impact Shady Grove out here in Lincoln County, Sycamore Swamp, Flintville, Gum Springs, Smithland, up here towards Liberty Hill, Herdlow, Gaddistown, Locks Mill, Mulberry, Lois, Bakertown, Ridgeville, up here towards Pleasant Hill, County Line. There's downtown Lynchburg, so right around the distillery, take cover. Turkey Creek, possibly Raysville. And if it does hold together, this might also impact portions of Tullahoma and perhaps even Estill Springs. But again, I got my doubts on it, but I'll tell you this, if it does hold together, it will impact those areas. Again, now the good thing here is this will not impact Jackson County. This is staying well north of there, so this storm's actually trending north. So this is trending out, the tornadic part's trending out of Alabama. And then this is not going to be a North Georgia issue. And in fact, those of you in Northwest Georgia, it's going to be a while for any of these storms to even get to you. I mean, for most of the area that's not seen thunderstorms, it's going to take some time for all this to move east. I mean, it's not moving as fast as we'd want it to get it in and out of here. I mean, unfortunately, it's just hanging around, and this is why most of us have that flood watch in effect, because once these storms move in, they're going to hang around for a little while. At least the heavy rain will, and that's going to lead to the possibility of some flooding issues. Now, I'm going to show you a different source here. This is a radar scope, and notice all the flash flood warnings also up in Middle Tennessee. Now, this is a pretty good indication here. It shows some very strong wind here just south of the center of downtown Fayetteville. So here's the bypass that goes around town right in here, and this is passing just south of there. Let's query how strong these winds are. Again, roughly in that 50-mile-per-hour range, with some gusts in here, might get up to 60 in a few spots in here. So definitely an indication of strong wind. So even if there's not a tornado, I could certainly see possibly a severe thunderstorm warning maybe being issued here for Franklin County, possibly down the road here, just for the wind. So I would just be aware of that. But again, as I said earlier, I'm not seeing any signs in here that really scream out to be a tornado or anything. I do believe this storm is gradually, with time, weakening. I mean, it's still fairly intense. I mean, it still has the signature where it could have a little bit of small hail. It's definitely got a strong wind signature, and it may still try to produce a spin up somewhere. But it's definitely not a very strong signature at this time. Again, Coffee County, you're pretty much covered up in heavy rain, except maybe for the far southeast tip of the county down here towards Hillsborough and south. But you're about to get in on this heavy rain here eventually. McMinnville, it's pretty much on top of you right now, but again, nothing severe through here, just heavy rain and some brief gusts of wind up in here. So up in here towards Center Hill Lake, you're getting the heavy rain. Also, there's a flash flood warning north of Cookeville here for Putnam County. So that includes up here towards Overton and Jackson counties in Tennessee. Flash flood warning there. And also another flash flood warning also for Rutherford County, so including Murfreesboro. And it goes all the way down to just about almost Bell Buckle, but not quite. So you got a flash flood warning there. Let me see if I can get, and that's going to go in effect for almost the next 6 hours. So that goes in effect until roughly 5:45. So that's going to be a while for that warning. Again, this tornado warning here remains in effect for those of you in Lincoln and Moore counties for the next 27 minutes. So we got till 12:30 on this, unless the NWS cancels early. But it's just a safe bet to assume that this is going to continue, just to be on the safe side, given the history of this thunderstorm. Now, the winds did pick up a little bit on this, so there's definitely an increasing damaging straight line wind concern. Now we're starting to see some 60s in here. So we're now seeing 60, 62, 63. So that's definitely an indication of severe winds. Now, keep in mind, severe level winds begin at 58. So this is above the severe criteria. So this is definitely a severe thunderstorm warning kind of storm that's producing some damaging winds going across there's a 60, 61 there, south and east of Fayetteville around Park City. So again, if you're in Franklin County, make sure you get away from windows here, because it does appear you got a pretty strong storm with at least damaging straight line winds. That will be moving in over the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. So get ready for that. So tornado or not, you're going to have some pretty strong winds. And you may also have some very torrential rain and also some frequent lightning and maybe a little bit of pea to marble size hail in here as well, but it'd be very isolated, nothing big though. As I said, there's a lot of lightning in this thunderstorm, but I will have to say I am also encouraged that the lightning count has come down a little bit. I'm not seeing near the number of strikes as I was once seeing when we first came on here. So that's a positive sign. So maybe this is a sign that this storm is weakening with time. But again, you still want to, as a course of least regret, you still want to stay sheltered here. So stay sheltered in Fayetteville, stay sheltered in Lynchburg, stay sheltered down towards Flintville and Elora, and down towards up to Mulberry, and out towards Park City along 231, 431. So that whole corridor in points east still needs to be sheltered all the way out to the Franklin County line until this thunderstorm passes. And it'll be in and out of there by 12:30 as of the current timing. So it'll be in and out of there hopefully within the next 30 minutes. And then it will be on to the east, and hopefully by then it will be weaker. That's the hope here. We also got some more heavy rain here showing up, moving across Timms Ford Lake. Excuse me, they're moving up here towards Estill Springs, and eventually up here towards Arnold Air Force Base, and so right along AEDC Road. So right up here from about where the Home Depot and Walmart and all that is down here towards Deckard, Heavy rain is moving into that area and points all the way up 41A into Tullahoma, where it's just pouring down. Pouring down also in Manchester and Shelbyville here. Looks like it's breaking up a little bit in Normandy, but it's about to get heavier again. And up here towards Warren County, Morrison, Centertown, McMinnville, very heavy rain. This red you see in here, maybe a little bit of Peat of Marble size hail in that cell. Moving across Highway 56, heading up towards Rock Island, but it's not anything big. And then moving up here, pretty much right along the white Dekalb County line between Smithville and Sparta. Get ready in Sparta for more heavy rain. And, of course, Cookeville's getting the heavy rain as well. Again, these cells out in here are not severe, so out here towards north of Pikeville and out towards Dayton, Evansville, Spring City, Decatur, 10 Mile. Just some good pop-up downpours there. We'll just call them pop-ups. Looks like a shower's developing right now over Beersheba there in Grundy County. Nothing really big there. Another shower possibly developing over Grutley. And some more showers here over portions of Van Buren County. But again, I figured I'd give a quick little rundown. Everybody else is dry right now, so at least for right now. Now, not everybody's going to be dry for long because all this is pushing off to the east. So, again, latest velocity scan again continues to show, we'll just call it the lack of circulation in here. Not much at all. Definitely some very strong wind, though. Moving across 231, 431, but I'm going to bet that this is probably east of there by now and probably crossing over Highway 64 and moving up Highway 50 by now. So, just imagine that this right here, this bright green is all the way out in here. So it's probably somewhere out in this zone here, right around the Moore County line probably at this point. So again, sometimes these radars are a little bit delayed, and that goes the case for most radars here. They can be delayed by a few minutes. So just assume that the heaviest part of these storms here are a few miles east of what it's saying here. So that's just a kind of a course of least regret thing. You just got to make sure that. That's why I always say, don't wait until the estimated times of arrival to go to your safe place. Just go ahead and go there and wait till it passes. Now let's see if we have any new other updates too. And now we do have a new velocity scan update in here that just came in. Again, as I said, still no indications of a circulation as much. But again, that's definitely a very strong wind gust. That's a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust being indicated. Not too far off the ground. Now, of course, down at the surface, that's probably more like 50, but again, still some pretty strong wind here moving across Highway 64. Now, this kind of wind here can be enough to knock power out. It can knock down trees. I mean, it could still cause trouble. So that's why you got to respect this just as much as you would an actual tornado and just go to your safe place. Because, again, you could have the possibility of some damaging winds. Now, we just got another warning update on this. So let's see what they're saying now, the NWS in Huntsville here. So I just got a new warning update, so let me find that here. It's right here. Here it says a severe thunderstorm. It says here at 12:07 a.m., so 1 minute ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 7 miles southeast of Fayetteville, and it's moving east at 45 miles an hour. Hazard is a tornado, and it's radar indicated. It says here this tornadic thunderstorm will remain over mostly rural areas of north central Madison, Moore, and Lincoln counties, including the following locations: Mulberry, Chestnut Ridge, Howell, Belleville, Elora, Herdlow, Bellevue, Lois, Mimosa, and Boonville. Now, Lynchburg was not mentioned in this, but that's probably because the area of rotation is likely going to stay south of Lynchburg. So it does appear that most of Lynchburg will likely miss out on this rotating thunderstorm because you are more north of the boundary here. So if there is a possible tornado, it's actually going to stay farther south, clipping the southern edge of Moore County. And it may be more of a Franklin County issue if this holds together. As I say, if you're in Franklin County, this is your heads up here, that if this storm were to cycle back up and intensify, this could be your issue here, right, and especially around Belvedere and Winchester. You might want to watch this storm carefully. Still getting some indications here of some hail. So right around the Mulberry area and heading up here towards Lynchburg. So you'll definitely get some heavy rain, wind, and possibly a little bit of small hail in this thunderstorm. And it's going to continue from there. So eventually that's going to make it up into the Tullahoma area with time. And eventually out here towards Estill Springs as well. So get ready for some heavy rain and wind. And one thing to note on this, and I'll show you this here on the here's the better way to depict it here. See how this line is bowing right here? This is an indication here of those strong straight line winds. So you're getting this pretty much direct west to east punch of wind. And along the leading edge, what can happen here is if this line is uniform enough, you can get these small little eddies that can form on the edge, these little mini tiny hooks that could form tornadoes. And that's why they're keeping this warning in effect, just to be on the safe side, because even though the circulations are not all that impressive, you can still get a brief tornado out of it. And we just want to make sure we catch those ahead of time. So again, this is where the main area, if I were to guess the main area of concern where there might be a possible tornado, would be this zone right here over Quarter Cross Roads and Crystal Springs and Brighton, moving up towards Lackey Road, Flintville Road, Myrick Road, Winchester Highway, so that's 64 coming up down. You come down the Highland Rim right in here, you turn left, that takes you up towards Fayetteville. This is where this, if there is a circulation, that's where it'll be. So right around the Kelso area, moving up here towards Smithland. And you can tell by the terrain on this map, you can see the rough terrain in through here. And down here towards State Route 121, that's Shady Grove Road. And eventually down here towards 121 Watermill Road, so that's in the town of Flintville itself, Sycamore Swamp, Gum Spring. And eventually it's going to head out here towards it's like Cashin Road, Lexi Crossroads. So now we're getting to Franklin County here. And we'll see what the Weather Service decides to do for Franklin County here pretty shortly. We should have a decision in fairly soon. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to turn on one of my other alerts here. And that's a special weather statement, see if they'll extend it as that or anything. But so far I haven't seen signs of it. But again, here's the overview here real quick. Again, no other areas are involved. This is the only area involved in any kind of warning, and it's a tornado warning. Heavy thunderstorms west of 111 approaching the 111 corridor. So they're approaching Sparta. They're going to be near Spencer soon. And eventually they'll sneak into Grundy County. Eventually the rest of Franklin County, Marion, Sequatchie, Bledsoe. Eventually this is going to be y'all's turn here for the heavy rain and gusty wind. And it will take some time, especially further south here, for those of you in Jackson and Dekalb to get in on this heavy rain and thunderstorm activity, because this is also heading in your direction as well. But the good news is, let me look at velocity and see if we got any kind of circulations with this. No, this is totally elevated the way I'm seeing it. So some great news there. So I'm not seeing anything further south that warrants concern at this time. And again, as I said, this is the main area where we have to watch for a possible tornado. It's pretty much right along this line, and especially the further south you go from Lynchburg, the better the tornado chance, if there is any. And again, definitely still getting some indications of strong wind in here that could be on the order, again, of 50 to 60. Crossing, and that's a pretty strong gust right there. Look, that's 66. Now, again, remember, this is off the ground by a good bit, so down at the surface, it's probably 50 to 55. So, but still, again, strong wind regardless. Moving across the southern tip of Moore County. And again, this is pretty much crossing into Franklin County as we speak. So this strong pocket of gusty wind, of strong damaging wind, is crossing into that area right now. So we should have some information soon on what this will do as it crosses into Franklin County and points in between. Again, not seeing any red meeting up against the green, anything aggressively. I mean, it's very weak, very disorganized. Something you always want to see. Now, of course, don't ignore the damaging wind threat, because especially when you have these bright blues and these bright greens like this, that's an indication here where you have strong straight line winds. So definitely don't ignore that as that moves into the Franklin County area. So it's moving right up towards Timms Ford. They'll be in line first, and then if that holds together, Winchester, Deckard, you'll also have the risk for strong winds here coming down the road. And this is actually, believe it or not, the only warning that's in effect, at least as far as severe thunderstorms are concerned, in our area at this time. And again, the way you see this bow out right here, let me do that a little bit better. The way this thing is bowed out, right, you see right through Lynchburg and all the way down here south and east of Fayetteville. When you see a bow like this, that's an indication where you got those damaging straight line winds. And on the leading edge of that is where you would find little spin-offs that could produce tornadoes. Now, at this time, I'm not seeing a very strong indication of it, thankfully. But again, that does not mean one can't form. I mean, one can easily form, and it could cause all sorts of issues. So hopefully not, but again, we'll just have to be on guard here for those of you in Franklin County. And heavy rain's already spreading farther east, so you're already getting more of this heavy rain across the northern end of the county and all the way through pretty much all of Coffee County now at this point. I mean, the whole county's now covered in torrential rain. Woodbury, you're getting on the backside of this now, but you got more rain about to move in. But your severe threat's done. So if you're in Smithville and Woodbury, the worst is over for you. So this is all moving to your east now. Sparta, get ready. Heavy rain, gusty wind moving in now. Doyle, same thing. Rock Island, you're getting hammered with some heavy rain. Same with McMinnville. Down here towards Irving College, you're getting in on it now. Morrison, Viola, again, no tornadoes up in here, but definitely some heavy rain and gusty wind moving towards Spencer, Fall Creek Falls. You're in line for this thunderstorm. And eventually down here towards Hillsboro and down towards Estill Springs and back up to Shelbyville, Normandy Lake, Manchester, Bell Buckle, Wartrace. Again, those are the other areas that are also seeing heavy rain and thunderstorm activity. Non-severe, but enough to warrant some concern for some heavy rain, and possibly, if it does continue to rain like that, there might be more street flooding concerns down the road, so some flash flooding, I should say. Now, we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued, so they have went ahead and posted a new severe thunderstorm warning, and this does include Franklin, Eastern Lincoln, and Moore counties. So let me get you the warning information on that. So we now have a new severe thunderstorm warning that will go in effect here. Let me get you the wording from the NWS. Now, it does have a tornado possible tag on that, and I'll touch on that in just a minute. It says at 12:15 a.m., so as of 2 minutes ago, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from near Lynchburg to 8 miles northwest of Huntland to 8 miles north of Newmarket, Alabama, moving east at 40 miles an hour. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour winds. Source is radar indicated. It says expect damage to roofs, siding, and trees. Locations impacted include Huntland, Winchester, Elora, Herdlow, Lynchburg, Deckard, Maxwell, St. Andrews, so Sewanee area basically, Alto, Estill Springs, Smithland, Timsford Lake, Beans Creek, and Woods Reservoir. Now, here's the part where they talk about the possibility of a tornado here. It says, remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or a small central room in a sturdy structure. Please don't go out and try to spot that because you're not going to see anything because it's a wall of rain and it's night. Don't try to do that. But there's what they're saying here is if you were to spot one, just go to your safe place. And, of course, for your protection, move into an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So, again, that's where they have that. They have this label. Now, it's a severe thunderstorm warning, but there's a catch to it, and that catch is a tornado possible tag on it, and you'll see it right here. So this is for Eastern Lincoln, all of Moore County, and all of Franklin County. Now, Tullahoma, the Franklin County side of Tullahoma is involved in this, but not Coffee County, but as a course of least regret, let's just consider you also in this because you're going to be on the northern edge of this activity. Now, let's check velocities here and make sure we don't have any kind of circulation trying to form. And so far, it's remaining uniform, so that's a good sign. So we're still seeing more of the bright greens instead of these mixing with the reds, which is a good sign. So we're not seeing any rotation. As I said, it's a wall of wind, a wall of rain, and maybe a little bit of small hail moving off to the east and northeast. And let me check the movement on that here again real fast. It's moving northeast again at 40 miles. It's moving to the east at 40. So, again, we're about to lose this tornado warning here fairly shortly here in about 10 minutes for Lincoln and Moore. And this will likely be replaced by this severe thunderstorm warning that will go throughout Franklin County and pretty much all the way up into the Coffee, Grundy, and Marion County lines. Now, there's also a new advisory I just got in here. This is for Jackson County. This is a significant weather advisory. For those of you in Jackson County, Alabama, let me get you the information on that. This is for the western end of the county. It says that 1218 Doppler radar was indicating strong thunderstorms along the line extending from 8 miles east of Ardmore to near Tanner, Alabama, to 9 miles southeast of Moulton, Alabama. It's moving east at 45 miles an hour. And it says here the hazards are wind gusts of 40 miles an hour and the possibility of pea-size hail. So again, those of you in the northwestern tip of Jackson County, so think of Woodville down towards Pleasant Groves, up to High Tops, Skyline, Francisco, Jericho area, Walls of Jericho area. That's the area involved in this severe, not severe, but significant weather advisory, which is just a tier below a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's going to go in effect here until 1:15. So through the next hour for this line of thunderstorms that's approaching and crossing I-65 right now. So again, this is the main area down in here too, across Alabama at least, the main area in Alabama of concern. Moving off to the east, northeast, and there towards Jackson County. And also, it may also include the northern sections of Marshall County too, so get ready in that area as well. Again, back up here to this severe thunderstorm / tornado warning pretty much. That's in this area up in here towards Franklin County. Again, rotation is very weak, if any. Again, you always got to watch these little, when you have these little intersections here of red and green, but it's very weak. Definitely again here, I'll put on the wind indicator here again. You'll see definitely some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds in here. A lot of 61, 62, some upper 50s in here too. So definitely some strong wind for sure. And we'll put on reflectivity, show you where there may be some hail involved. I'll put on the vertically integrated liquid, and you'll see here very shortly what that hail looks like. And there's a little bit of hail here being indicated right around Lynchburg, moving up towards Motlow State, and eventually out here towards right up and down Jackson Street there in Tullahoma. So get ready for maybe some small hail there. Definitely get ready for heavy rain and gusty wind, but you may also get some small hail in that. And eventually, if that holds together, Arnold Air Force Base in Manchester will see that thunderstorm as well. So again, this is just the northern end. I'm talking the far northern end of this linear line, and this has also become more of that linear straight line. So then that's why the damaging wind threat has increased with this line as opposed to the tornado threat, because right in here is where, when you have more of a linear structure, yes, you can get spin-up tornadoes on the leading edge, but your damaging wind threat will actually go up. So that's just the way it works here within these kind of situations. So again, not seeing any major rotation, and I'll check debris tracker, make sure we don't have any debris or anything. Nope. So that's a good sign. Now, we did earlier have that debris signature down around just south and east of Lexington, Alabama, before I came on here. There was a debris signature there that had that blue circle on the correlation coefficient. That's what you'd have to look for, and we saw it then, and we also saw it back over in when it was over the Florence area, out towards the Shoals. They had that confirmed tornado. It was shown there on that live camera, and also on radar showed that debris ball. So that's what you'd have to look for, is a blue circle to find debris. And thankfully, I'm not seeing any of that. I am not seeing any of that here for our friends in Franklin and Moore counties. But again, as I said, very strong indication of wind, and also some more indication of gusty wind here, at least according to velocity. And there's probably a gust front, I'd imagine, the way it's looking here. There's probably a gust front that's running out ahead of this. So that may be doing some wonders here and cutting off any real circulations from really developing. Now, sometimes what can happen here is that if we do get storm development here that forms and merges into the line at the right place and right time, you can get a brief spin up out of it fairly quickly. So, especially if the storm merges with the gust front. So that's something we may have to monitor here, just to be on the safe side. Hopefully we don't have any mergers or anything that happen. So as long as we don't have any major mergers or anything like that happen, we should continue to see this be on a weaker end and be more of a strong straight line wind deal. So considering that this is more of a linear line now, and that does help with storm tracking a little bit. So the orientation of this is a little bit easier to track, and it's pretty much west to east. So as I said, it's easier to track when we can do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to track this out for those of you watching in Grundy and Marion, and I'll double check the movement here to make sure I have it right on here. It's moving east at 40. So we'll track it from the leading edge of this line of very heavy rain and wind, and we'll track it right up in through here, so through the southern end of Grundy and the northern half of Marion County, moving east at 40. In fact, I'll give an extra heads up and do 45. So Winchester downtown, 1234, so about 10 minutes. Make sure you're away from windows there. 1237 in Dekalb, 1241 for Cowan. Down here towards University View, so around Sewanee, between 1240 and 1250. St. Andrews, 1250. Monteagle, 1254, so just before 1 o'clock. And they just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning that now includes Grundy County, so I'll get to that in just a moment. Tracy City around 1 o'clock. Comfort around 1 o'clock. Down towards White City, 1:05. Shatterkill there near Tracy at 1:05. Little Squatchie at 1:13. Victoria around 1:16. Palmer at 1:17. Griffith Creek around 1:18. 1:18 also in Whitwell. Kettner Mill 1:19, and Crossroads at 1:21. So now let's get to this severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for Grundy, Warren, and Grundy, Coffee, and Warren counties. And let me get you the time frame on that. That's going to go in effect until, this goes for 50 minutes, so that will go in effect until 1:15. So 1:15 a.m. Central, 2:15 a.m. Eastern Time. It says severe thunderstorms located along a line, right in here, here's the line, extending from near Tullahoma, right here where the lightning is, all the way down to Huntland, and the movement is northeast at 50 miles an hour. Here's Grundy County right here, here's Coffee here, and here's Warren County here. Hazard is 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail. It's radar indicated. And here are the locations in the path of this severe thunderstorm. It includes Morrison, Monteagle, Altamont, Tullahoma, Summitville, Colmont, McMinnville, Hillsboro, Pelham, Tracy City, Manchester, Viola, Grutley Lager, Beersheba Springs, Arnold Air Force Base, the Fiery Gizzard, and Woods Reservoir. Those are the locations in the path of this severe thunderstorm warning. This also includes Interstate 24 between mile markers 103 and 135. So that's your new severe thunderstorm warning until 1:15. For those of you in Grundy, Coffee, and Warren counties in Middle Tennessee, 1:15 there, and we have this severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for those of you down in Franklin and Moore in the far southeast tip of Lincoln County. That also goes in effect until 1:15. But again, I'd say Lincoln County, you're pretty much out of this now. This is to your east. In Moore County, I'm going to give you the clear because this is moving to your east. So this is squarely now a Franklin, Coffee, Grundy, and Warren County situation here regarding this line of thunderstorms. I will say the intensity of these storms have come down just a little bit. I will say that. They've come down to the point where I'm not seeing a tornado right now. That's the good news. This is mainly straight line wind. And even further south, the further south you go into the Alabama, down towards Huntsville area, it's even weaker down there. So this is the only area that has severe weather in the viewing area right now. And again, this one tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So they have canceled that tornado warning. So I can actually put a big X over this because this is not a tornado warning anymore. So if you're in Moore County and Lincoln County, you're in the clear. The storm's to your east, and the tornado warning for your area has been canceled. So some wonderful news there. So no tornado concerns there anymore. And really not much of any, really, period. Just some strong straight line wind. Moving across Franklin County and up through Coffee and Grundy and the southwestern tip of Warren County. So again, let's get down into location here. So let's see the areas where they're being really affected right now. So Pleasant Grove, Timsford Lake, Broadview, Dripping Springs Subdivision, Myers, Henley, Deckard, Bruner Crossing, Estill Springs, Capitol Hill, you're next in line. Out here towards downtown Deckard, you're next up. Winchester, you're next up for this. Nissan Plant's in the path of these severe thunderstorms with damaging winds. Greenhall, Rourke Cove, down here towards the University of the South in Sewanee. Cowan, St. Mary, down here towards St. Mary's, Cowan, out here towards Sandswitch. Monteagle, up here towards Alto, Wilder Chapel, Gum Creek, Shady Grove, Duncantown, Arnold Village. Here's the base. So Arnold Air Force Base is in the middle of this right now. All of Tullahoma is in the middle of the heavy rainstorm activity too. Manchester, you're pretty much in that right now. Hillsboro, it's getting heavier. Pelham, you're next up for this. And eventually it's going to head out here towards Monteagle, Tracy, Klaus Hill. So there's Klaus Hill Road that runs out there to Payne Cove. And here is, as you go up the mountain here, here's Highway 50 that goes up, Highway 55 here, it goes up the mountain here towards Elkhead, and now here towards the 108 area. So here's Grundy County High School right out in here. So Colmont, you're next up. Altamont, you'll be in line for this. Same with Grutley Lager. Beersheba, you'll be next up in line as well to see these heavy rain and thunderstorms. And north and east and north from there. Summitville, you guys are more on the backside of this now. But again, you'll probably have more heavy rain and thunder moving in shortly. Morrison, McMinnville, you're kind of also on the backside of this, but again, you will probably still see a continuation of heavy rain here. In Spencer, you're not in a warning there, but in Spencer, you got more heavy rain and thunderstorms moving in. And also on the east side of Sparta, going up Bon Air Mountain, you also got a heavy rain and thunder there. Same with Monterey and Putnam County. So these are all the areas right now that have strong to severe thunderstorm activity. The severe thunderstorm activity is basically south of McMinnville and all the way down to the Alabama state line. That's pretty much where it varies. And again, I do want to give a heads up here. If you're in Marion County and in Sequatchie County, so Sequatchie County, Marion County, these thunderstorms are heading your way. As I've said before, they have weakened and they've lost a little bit of their intensity, just a little. But they're strong enough to where they'll still produce the potential for strong straight line winds, some torrential rain, some lightning, and there may be an isolated instance in there where you may get some pea to marble size hail. Nothing big, nothing wild, but enough to warrant the possibility of some, of course, these severe thunderstorm warnings and that. So, again, this is just your heads up here for those of you in Marion County, Sequatchie County, and also Grundy County. This is all heading your way. So, again, let me run down these warnings here real quick. First up, if you're in western Jackson County, so west of Scottsboro, you have a significant weather advisory, and that's going to go in effect also until 1:15. That's not a severe thunderstorm warning, but that's enough to warrant for the possibility of some gusty winds and small hail. Again, here's your severe thunderstorm warning that pretty much, and I'm just going to take Moore and Lincoln out of this because they're not involved anymore. This is east of there now. So again, all of Franklin County until 1:15. Coffee, Warren, Grundy until 1:15. Those are your current warnings, and then the one advisory down in Jackson County. And the storms haven't gotten to Jackson County yet. They're all the way back down in the Huntsville area still, so it'll be a little bit before they get there. But, yeah, so this is the main area right now. I'm not seeing any signs of rotation or anything of any major concern, thankfully. This has really come down quite a bit. So that's some good news. So again, I'm continuing to see more and more good news with this line as this continues to move off to the east. I'll double check, though, and make sure we don't have anything, and that's good. Definitely still seeing wind, though. Look at the winds in here. Definitely seeing some 50 to 60. So that's coming right across Highway 64 right now. So what I'll do here is on the other source, I'll go down into closer to street level here with this once this updates. I don't know when it's going to update, but whenever it does, you're definitely going to see more of this. So right around Kissling Crossing, so we're now getting into the Winchester area again where these strong winds are moving in. There's Row Gap Road that comes up out of Jackson County and moves right down the mountain down there. Liberty, Keith Springs, up here, right along here. So right, this road right in here that runs between Winchester and Cowan, that's College Street. So that's 41A. And that's going to come out here towards where the Food City is and Russell Barnett and all that area is. Hospital, it's out that way. Some heavy rain, some gusty winds moving into that area. Cowan, this is going to be moving on your doorstep here pretty soon as well. The heaviest is just about to reach the Nissan plant in Dekalb, but not quite. But it'll be there pretty quickly if it hadn't been there, if it hadn't gotten there yet. Most of Deckard's probably already in the heavy rain, if not by now. And up here towards Estill Springs, so right along Tullahoma Highway, here's where that drive-in movie theater is, right up in here between Tullahoma and Estill Springs in the red. And that in the red color you see on this map means very heavy rain, strong wind potential, and you might even have a little bit of pea-sized hail in here, which is indicated by the purple dots you see on here. That may be a little bit of hail being indicated in that thunderstorm. Again, this is strictly linear, so that's the good thing. There's no tornadoes or anything. And here's that little punch of wind I was talking about here. So right over Belvedere. So this is right over Old David Crockett Highway. Over here towards, here's Row Gap right here. So that's Highway 16 that comes off the mountain there. Moves up towards Veterans Memorial Drive, and that's the bypass, 64 bypass. Skidmore Lane, Hooper Road, Sisk Road, Liberty, Little Mountain. So you get out here, here's where the Food City and all that is. Out here towards the exit out here, the 41A exit. There's the bypass road that goes by the high school. That's where you have some strong wind and heavy rain moving in now. And it's going to move pretty much right down Bookout Road, Country Drive, Davis Street, moving into Cowan soon. Greenhall's in the path of this. And let's go up here a little further north into Coffee County. Not seeing anything very strong in wind-wise up here. In fact, I believe this wind up in here in Coffee County is more below severe levels. But again, some of the areas that it's affecting: Asbury, Blackjack, Royal Oaks, Rutledge Falls, Winton Town, Hubbard's Cove, Hickson Community, and Grundy County, not Hamilton County, Hickson and Grundy County. Altamont's on the verge of getting this. Again, yeah, y'all are on the verge of getting that, and that's going all the way up towards Estill Springs. Right up in here is Northcutt's Cove, which is about right here. It's not showing up on the map, but right here's Northcutt's. It's getting close to there. Viola's in line. Now, the good news is I can say here is McMinnville and Morrison, you guys do appear to be more on the backside now. As I said earlier, you guys are on the back half of this. So the worst of the wind is going to stay to your east. It's going to mainly be along this gust front. So this gust front here is pretty much moving directly west to east. So once it passes you, your severe threat's done. I mean, it's officially out the window. I mean, your severe threat's done the moment this gust front passes. And how I can tell if the gust front here is by looking at this velocity. And you'll see an effect here, and you'll see this line back in here. Once this passes, you will not have a severe threat anymore. This will just be mainly rain and all that. Now, we do have another severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued. So we have a severe thunderstorm warning that does include a very small section of Jackson County. So this does include Woodville and Gurley. So let me get you the latest on that. And there's also a tornado tag on that, because there is a little bit of spin out here towards west of Triana, there in the Huntsville area. So let me get you the latest on that real quick. Let me see here. Let me get that warning up. It says a severe thunderstorm was located near Priceville, or 8 miles east of Decatur, and it's moving east at 30. But again, this does not include any of the major cities in Jackson County, but it does include Paint Rock and Woodville. So Paint Rock and Woodville, make sure you're getting away from windows there if you are west of Scottsboro. Strong to severe storm moving into that area. Again, there's also a tornado tag on that. So again, you can get a brief spin up out of it that can develop really quickly. Now, what I'm going to show you here also is there's also some more heavy rain moving into the western end of Marion County, but that is non-severe. Not seeing any concern of that. Now, I do want to note here, there is something I am monitoring. See this little notch right here that's trying to develop here near Cowan? We'll have to keep an eye on that, because sometimes what can happen here is on the leading edge of these gust fronts, you can sometimes get little brief spin ups. So again, don't panic over it here, but again, right over the Cowan area, there's a little bit, and I'm talking about a little bit of weak rotation showing up here. Right around, pretty much right down 41A to downtown Cowan. It's going to move pretty much right up that highway. And here's the motion on that. It's going to move up towards Sewanee. So heads up there. I'm not seeing a major tornado concern. But again, let's just err on the side of caution here. And there's a reason why this has a tornado possible tag on it. There's a reason for it, because sometimes you get these little surprise little spin ups here that can happen. So not seeing anything confirmed on the ground or anything, but I'm just erring on the side of caution here. If you are in Cowan and Sewanee, make sure you're away from windows, and just make sure you're kind of just finding somewhere safe here for the next few minutes here, and just wait this out. Again, it won't take too long to get there. Probably won't take longer than 20 minutes, but it's just something we got to watch here. Now, the good news is on the next frame, it did look a little weaker, so that's a good sign. So hopefully, but again, I am checking the velocity on the other source here, and it does still show a little bit of spin right in there. So again, unfortunately, it's kind of muddled right here, so I'm going to have to hop on over the radar scope. And you can kind of see a little bit of red and green right here, so it's still showing up right in there. It's very difficult to pick out, but right here is the area of concern. And there may be another area to the south, too. This is all moving off to the north and east. So Sewanee, get ready for some very strong wind, for sure. And just to be on the safe side here, I would still think about taking my safe places to be safe, especially when you see a hook echo trying to form like this. I mean, it's still showing up. I mean, it's not maybe as prevalent as it was a scan ago, but that's still wrapped up a little right in here. So you see where it's kind of wrapping around. and then you got the inflow coming in from this direction. So again, one of these little QLCS spin-ups is what it's called, and you got to watch that. So it's moving right up the mountain here, and eventually that's going to move towards Monteagle. Here's I-24 right in here. Here's 41A, and then 41, it's just 41 here as you go up here towards Tracy City. Again, still some indications there of some strong wind. Perhaps a small little spin up trying to develop there, and there you go. So right in there, so it got strong on that last scan. I want to note that. It got stronger. So right here is where it is. So let me see if I can get that on the map here. See, hopefully it zooms in right. Unfortunately, it's not doing it on this one, but I'll just stick to this. So here's downtown Cowan down here, the very far bottom of the screen. And the main area right now is moving off to the east. So if you are west of this line, so if you're west of this main line here, if you're in Winchester, Deckard, y'all can go to sleep. If you're in Estill Springs, you're good. Tullahoma, y'all are good. This is to your east now. This is not a factor for you anymore. So I do want to kind of put some reminders there. So again, if you are in Sewanee, let's play this safe. There's no formal tornado warning. But I am seeing some signs of some weak rotational aloft that could produce a tornado. Not saying it will happen, but I would rather play on the side of caution when you have a squall line like this. In squall line situations, sometimes these can go very unnoticed, but I'm glad we're able to actually catch this, because sometimes you can get these little spin-ups that can occur very suddenly. So here's the other source. Let me show you some streets that would be under. So Georgia Crossing Road, Franklin Street, Greenhall Road, Bailey Road, Hawkins Cove Road, so Tennessee Avenue, so you're getting up here towards the cross. St. Mary's, right up there by the Templeton Library, all that area down in there. Up here towards, here's the university campus right up in here. So there's Southern Tennessee, the course at Sewanee. So definitely some strong indications of wind moving in, or about to move in here very soon. So again, up here towards Rourke Cove, Greenhall, passing just south of Alto. So this should pass south of 64, the way I'm seeing it. But again, there is a possible little area, and it's still there. So it's holding on. So right in here, where red meets the green, there's a little bit of weak rotational off that could produce a small tornado. Now the big story here is this will produce damaging winds. That's for sure. You will have strong winds. It's just that there's a small chance that it could also spin up something. So we'll have to watch out that, and it's moving off like this. And what I'll put that into motion and show you what that looks like. See, look what's happened here. You can actually kind of see right in here where it started circulating right here. Look at that little spin that started happening. Now this is up in the air, not on the ground, but there it went right there. So it would not surprise me that if in the future, in a survey or something, that in a storm survey, you might have had a brief spin up. I would not rule that out because of the way that thing spun right there for a few minutes. But again, it's just something we have to monitor. So again, this would be the main area. There's also a little bit of small hail being indicated here, moving up here towards the Sewanee area as well. So you got a little bit of maybe some pea to marble size hail moving into that area at this time. So again, if you're in, but as I said earlier, if you are west of this line and you're out here towards Manchester, Winchester, Huntland, Fayetteville, Lynchburg, Shelbyville, McMinnville, up to McMinnville, I should say, Morrison, Woodbury, Smithville, you're clear. The worst of the weather is gone. You don't have to worry about any severe weather anymore in those areas. So again, that's the good news in that area. So now Jackson County, I'll check on that real quick. I'm not seeing any signs of anything there right now, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning for the far southwest end of Jackson County. That's going to go in effect for the next 45 minutes. So if you're in Woodville and up towards Paint Rock, you need to be away from windows at this time. Now, unfortunately, I'm still seeing signs in here. It's a little broad than it was before, but there's still a little bit of sign right here where there could be a little bit of rotation here aloft, heading pretty much directly northeast. So this is going to go up right up the north side of Sewanee, and if it holds together, this is going to go right up Main Street into Monteagle. So So here's one thing. Here's the two things you're going to have for sure. You're going to have heavy rain. You're going to have strong winds, and there's that outside chance, and this can never be ruled out. You might have a small tornado. So, again, that's just the way I'm seeing it right now at this time. So, these are the areas. It says here Franklin County Tornado Watch just got extended to 7 a.m. So, I am getting word that the Tornado Watch was extended. So, let me get that information out here real quick while we're in this. So, let me put the watch information out on here via the... Okay, Tornado Watch was extended. It does include Southeast Tennessee. So, let me show you the new watch. So, this just got put out. So, I saw that in the comments, and thank you to whoever put that on there. Again, here's your Tornado Watch in yellow. This will go in effect here until 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So this does include the following counties. So listen up here. Marion, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, Ray, Hamilton, Bradley, Meigs, McMinn, Monroe, Polk. That's the new watch for Southeast Tennessee. Now let's look here at the Franklin County one still goes into effect until 3 a.m. and the rest of this area to the west goes into effect until 3 a.m. But right in here, the Tornado Watch here goes into effect for this. So pretty much if you draw a line here, here's the Sequatchie Valley. From there in east, Tornado Watch until 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central Time. This is being issued, I want to emphasize this, out of precautionary issues. And here's an example of why. Look at the red and green couplet here showing up just south of Sewanee, right here. There could be the possibility of a little brief spin up. Now let me check CC here and make sure we don't have debris. Ooh, that's awfully close right there, but it doesn't look like it matches up, so let me double check. Oh, that's pretty close. That might be a small tornado there, just south of Sewanee there. It's very close, but again, it almost co-locates with that. So right where this little blue dot is. So if you are in the northwestern tip of Marion County, you definitely want to watch this carefully because this is moving east. So specifically around Martin Springs in that area. So let me take off this watch here because it's going to get a little harder to see on the other stuff. We don't want too much overlap. So again, reminder, Tornado Watch until 7 a.m. Eastern now for all areas from the Sequatchie Valley in east, and it goes all the way out to the Blue Ridge Mountains, basically. So it goes all the way out to pretty much the Smokies, is how far east that goes. And again, that's for a precautionary measure. And this is to account the fact that this line up in here has decided to hold together a little stronger. And I do have the belief that there's a chance that elevation may be actually strengthening this a little bit. The upslope in elevation here forcing these storms to rise. And that can actually allow the additional chance for a little spin up to occur. So it's just something you just got to watch over the next few minutes. So again, if you are anywhere to the west of this, so if you're in McMinnville, you're in Manchester, you're up towards Tullahoma, Lynchburg, up to Smithville, Cookville, you're all clear. This is east of you. You do not have a tornado concern anymore. Your threat is over. You can go to bed freely. Now, if you're over here to the east of all of this, if you are, especially east of Cowan, east of Manchester, you want to be on alert, still want to remain on alert, because there is still that chance where you could have the possibility of more strong to severe storms. Now, that went away on that last scan, thankfully. But again, there's still a little bit of indication here. So definitely some very strong wind moving in here south of Sewanee. So here's Highway 56 right here that goes down the mountain towards Sherwood. And definitely, and when you see these bright greens and bright reds, that indicates strong wind gusts. So right here, that shows a 50 that way. So that's going away from the radar to the north, and to the south, it's showing a 30. So definitely a very strong indication of gusty wind for sure. Approaching the Franklin State Forest and crossing into Marion County right now. Now, up here, further up the line here, I don't want to forget about Grundy County, because we do have that indication up in here of some very strong wind as well. So, yeah, these bright reds in here, this indicates strong winds. So the gust front's pretty much moving through Colmont right now. It's about to bear down on Grootley, up here towards Beersheba, and out here towards Altamont. The gust front's past you now. And that's up here, so it's moved past Spencer as well. So, yeah, very strong indications of gusty wind in here, too. And all the way down in here. So, yeah, this way some more heavy rains popped up out ahead of this in Marion County, but this is non-severe. But again, this right here is definitely impressive. Look how this is wrapped around right here. This is a very impressive signature here. Some rotation in this. Due south of Sewanee. Now, up in the air, of course, it's not on the ground, but up in the air. But right in here where would be a little bit of, not just your stronger wind, but there could be an embedded small spin up in that area. So right where it swirls around like that, you got to watch those things. Those concern any person like me that's associated with meteorology here. You know, you get concerned when you see this. So here's Highway 56, so that's South Pitt Mountain Road right here. That's going down to the Franklin State Forest, and it's going to move right into the northwestern tip of Marion County. Let's get a direction on this. And that's, yeah, it's moving due east. So it's actually moving directly east, which does on the storm tracking make it a little bit easier, so that can actually be tracked a little bit better. So right along I-24 here, so north of Kimball, north of Jasper, strong indications of damaging wind and heavy rain moving east. Here's Highway 41 right here, so Foster Falls is in this area, and this is in line for this. So let me get you a track on that. Let me update the speed. Moving east at 45. They're still keeping the tornado possible tag on that for Franklin County, and rightfully so. It's moving east at 45, so we'll track this out to Whitwell here. Give much advance notice as we can. Martin Springs just before 1 o'clock, so pretty much any minute. A little Scotchie there, down along Valley View Highway at 1:14. And new tornado warning for Franklin County. So, I was telling you about that hook near Sewanee. We have a tornado warning now in effect. So, if you're in Sewanee, you need to take cover. So, now if you're in Winchester, let me tell you who's in and who's out. Winchester, you're not involved. Estill Springs, you're not involved. This is east of you. I mean, this is wrapping up badly, folks. This may be becoming a tornado here. As it moves towards the northwest tip of Marion County, this might be becoming a tornado here. I mean, at any time. Let me check the new velocity here. All right, tornado warning for Marion and Sequatchie. So we do now have a tornado warning for those of you in Marion and Sequatchie counties. Please share the word. We do have a tornado warning. And let me read you the information here. So this is a new tornado warning for Marion and Sequatchie counties until 1:30. It says a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Sewanee, or 9 miles east of Winchester, moving east at 35 miles an hour. If you are in the following communities, you need to take cover. Monteagle around 12:55, Whitwell around 1:25. Also, if you're in Martin Springs, Cartwright, Lone Oak, Fiery Gizzard, Scotchie, Foster Falls, Griffith Creek, Chimney State Park, Powell's Crossroads, Jasper, you are all in the path of a possible tornado here, indicated by Doppler radar. This is a very strong indication of a possible tornado here. I mean, this is a very dangerous situation. And there may be a tornado involved in here. I'm not seeing anything on the CC. But again, if you are in northern Marion County, from Jasper north, you need to be taking cover. If you're in Whitwell, if you are in Griffith Creek, if you're in Crossroads and Dunlap, you need to get down to the cellar. This is a possible tornado indicated by Doppler radar just south and east of Sewanee. And it's moving off to the east. Let me get you the speed. Grundy County too. So we got another tornado warning here. Folks, this is getting serious. We got a tornado possibly moving over Monteagle and moving east from there. So let me get you the information on that. Another tornado warning. It says radar indicated over Monteagle or 17 miles northwest of Jasper. It's moving east at 55 miles an hour. So if you're in Tracy City, this will be near you at 1 o'clock. Get in your safe place. Wake people up. If you are in these areas, I cannot stress it enough. You got to wake people up. This is a bad situation here. We could have multiple tornadoes here moving across Grundy and Marion counties. This is not a joke. This is a serious situation. Let me show you what it looks like on velocity here, and I'll get to that. Let's get to the northern one first. So again, Tracy City, Colmont, safe spot. Here's your area of rotation. So right here is Klaus Hill Road. Here's Summerfield Road. Runs up in that area. So right out here, towards the gun shop that's out there. That's Campbell's Armory. Out here towards the Dutch Maid and Tracy. You need to be in your tornado safe place in that area. Out here towards Pryor Ridge, you need to be sheltered. Shatterkill, Hobbs Hill, Palmer, you all need to be in your tornado safe place. Possible tornado right here. Here's the other one. South and east of Sewanee. And it's moving directly east. So if you are anywhere in Foster Falls, Scotchie Mountain, Whitwell, Crossroads, you also need to be taking cover. And this also extends towards Suck Creek and up to Cartwright and Dunlap. All of you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now. Here's the main area of concern. So crossing I-24 Martin Springs exit's about right here. So let me circle that for you. Right there, here's your tornado moving directly east. That's the first area. Second area, approaching Klaus Hill Road and out here towards Summerfield Road in Tracy City. Moving directly east. So here's where the Dutch Maid and all that is in downtown Tracy City. It's passing just north of there. So it's heading up here towards Shatterkill, Hobbs Hill, and eventually heading up here towards the Palmer area. So those areas need to be sheltered. And again, this tornado warning, these warnings go in effect here until 1:30. So until 1:30, I need all of you from Jasper, north to Palmer, and Dunlap to be sheltered. Because we do have the possibility of not just one tornado, but we could have two tornadoes. Very serious situation here. And this does include downtown Dunlap. This does include Cookie Jar. This includes Cartwright. This includes the entire, pretty much the entire southern half of the valley, except for Kimball and South Pittsburgh. Now, if you're in Kimball and South Pittsburgh, this is north of you. So, again, this is east of Winchester. So, actually, I'll be honest with you. If you're in Franklin County, you're pretty much all clear from this. This is east of you now. So if you're in Sewanee, you're good. This is to your south and east. This is moving into those moving out of those areas. So again, let's zoom in here towards Tracy City here real quick, because this is where I'm seeing the stronger indication of a possible tornado right now at this point. So West Ramsey, East Ramsey, Mount View Lane. So there's Summerfield Road right there. There's Sanders Crossing, so Campbell's Armory. Possible tornado there. Hobbs Hill, that's Hobbs Hill Road. Shadrick Hill area, Altamont Street. There's Collier Street right there. So this road right here, this north, kind of the southwest-northwest street right here, that's Collier Road. Collier Street, I should say. 5th Street, 7th Street, Save-A-Lot. Out here towards the Family Dollar. All that's in the path of this possible tornado. Flat Branch, Scott Hill, Greentown. Greentown, you need to be sheltered. Cane Mountain, and eventually out here towards Griffith Creek. This tornado's heading your way. Palmer, take cover. Colmont, take cover. I know Grutley Logger's technically not in this, but if you're in Grutley Logger, I would just go ahead and shelter anyways, because this is close enough to warrant concern toward your area. I'm also seeing another sign of a possible tornado crossing over 156 at South Pittsburgh Mountain Road, getting ready to head out here towards I-24. So Battle Creek, Jasper Highlands, out here towards Foster Falls. Out here, this is going to probably pass north of the square. So if you're in downtown Jasper around the square, this is probably going to pass to your north. But as a course of least regret, you need to be taking your tornado precautions. Also, Little Scotchie, so right around Valley View Highway. And you can go up the mountain, Scotchie Mountain Road, Fire Tower Road. All those places up in there, all those homes on there up to Foster Falls, you need to be going to your safe place right now. Victoria, Kettner Mill. You're next up. Whitwell, so around the Whitwell schools and up 283 to Crossroads, Alvin York Highway, Griffith Highway. This is all the area that's in line for a possible tornado. So I'm hoping some of these landmarks are kind of helping here with helping you with making sure that you're being in a safe place. Now again, this will not affect Bridgeport. This will not affect South Pittsburgh. This is not going to affect Kimball. This is not going to affect Haletown. This is north of you by a good bit. Now let's check and make sure we don't have any debris here, and I hope to goodness we don't. And thankfully, no. Thank goodness we're not seeing any of that. So that's some good news there. But I am seeing indications of rotation in both of these thunderstorms. Again, this is by far the strong indication right here. You see this hook moving right over downtown Tracy City. I mean, the area of circulation may be not more than a mile. north of the downtown area. So it's moving right over Shadrick Hill and Hobbs Hill, moving towards Greentown and points in between. So please, whatever y'all do, make sure you share this information out, because we do have possible tornadoes moving through the northern end of Marion County and then the southern end of Grundy County. Now, we don't have a confirmed tornado. I want to stress that point. We don't have a confirmed tornado. But what we have are strong indications via velocity couplet and everything else in between that do indicate that there could be tornadoes involved. Now, the good news here, it does appear this southern circulation appears to have died out a little, so that's some good that's some good news there. So some wonderful news if you are down here towards Martin Springs, down towards Battle Creek, Kimball area, but you still need to be sheltered here just in case it were to re-strengthen. So we're still seeing some strong indications of rotations basically right over downtown Tracy City right now. So if there's a tornado, that's where it'll be. And it's going to cross basically right over the county line, head into the Greentown area, and eventually it's going to head out towards the Highway 108 corridor and impact those of you in Griffith Creek. So again, this is the main area of concern right now. It's going to be this hook echo you see right here. Let me zoom this out right. And there you go. I mean, that is a classic squall line signature of a possible tornado right there. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a time frame out on this, so that way you folks up towards Dunlap can be aware of this. I mean, this thing's flying to the east. This is moving east at 55. So let me put a time frame on that. So 55 miles an hour to the east, northeast. Shadrick Hill, 103. Greentown, 106. Griffith Creek, 113. Condra, 117. Dunlap, 123. Doss, 120. Mount Airy, 128. Now, this southern circulation's weaker down here to the north and west of Jasper Highlands, but let's just track it out anyways. So let me get the right movement on that and double check real quick. And by the way, if you're in Franklin County, you're in the all clear. This is east of you. This is moving east at 35. I'm going to put a 40-mile-an-hour notice on this. So let's put this out to Whitwell here at 40 and get you a time frame on that. Comfort, 108. Little Scotchie, they're right along Valley View Highway, 120. Victoria, 124. Kettner Mill, 127. Whitwell and Pine Hill at 128. And then, of course, Crossroads, 131. And Condra at 135, as well as Shirlington there at 132. Now, this does go all the way out to the Hamilton County line. So this does also include Lone Oak and areas down towards Mullins Cove and up here to the north. But again, this is the main area. The two main areas of concern are right here on the east side of Tracy City. And the other circulation here, a little weaker, but still got a little bit of a hook here, getting ready to cross I-24. So if anyone's on I-24 right now, they need to stop. They do not need to go past Kimball. And if you're coming down from Nashville, do not go past Monteagle. Because this is the danger zone right now. Again, if you are anywhere in these areas, go to the basement, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. Again, this is where we do have the possibility of a tornado. And this is also going to include those of you up in Scotchie County. Now, if you're in Scotchie County, you're going to be impacted by this northern circulation. So this northern circulation is heading up towards Cartwright, so towards Griffith Creek in Marion County, Cartwright, and then Dunlap. This circulation here is going to cross I-24 very shortly, move up towards Jasper Highlands, Little Scotchie area, Coppinger Cove, Scotchie Mountain, and out here towards Foster Falls, and then eventually out here towards Whitwell and Crossroads, as well as Kettner Mill, and out towards the Victoria area. These are the two possible circulations. And we also have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for Jackson County. So let me quickly, I got to make this quick because we got tornado warnings up here. Again, Jackson County, you have a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds in effect until, let me get that time frame. That goes in effect until 2 o'clock. So 2 o'clock, severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County. But again, we got to get back up here because this is the most important. So here's the updated circulation here. So Oak Grove, so this right here would be the Prior Ridge area. And down here towards, here's Foster Falls, which is located about right here. Circulation's north. Heading out here towards the Pocket. If you're in the Pocket, take cover. So take cover in the Pocket. Up here towards Griffith Creek. So Red Hill area, Mount Olive, Whitwell, Shirleyton, out here, so right along 28, right along 108, down here by the Hardys, down there towards the Hardys and Whitwell, by all the schools. Everybody around that area should be sheltered. Crossroads, everybody there needs to be sheltered. Up and down Alvin York Highway, just make sure you're in your tornado safe place until this passes. Liberty, that would be the Cartwright area. I should say Cartwright, but Cartwright's in the path of this. Doss, take cover in Doss. Out here towards Center Point, so East Valley Road, shelter in place. Dunlap, same thing. And the warning goes up to about the Cookie Jar Cafe, so anybody lives from the Cookie Jar all the way down the valley to Jasper, everybody in that area needs to be sheltered until this passes. And this warning expires. Let me put a reminder here. This expires at 1:30. So, again, share this out to those that are in the path of this, because this is very, very important. So this is the main area right now. So let me show you if we have any debris on this. I hope to God we don't. Thank goodness. Whew. Right in here is where the main circulation is. This is one of two. Right in here. So east of 41 now, Cane Mountain. Here's the pocket. So this is the entire Whitwell Mountain area, basically. And it's moving directly that way. Now let's check on this southern circulation, because we got another one down here. Got another upper level circulation. It's starting to hook around again. I don't like that. So let me put on the different view here. This is the other velocity scan. Let me put that on here, because it will update a little faster. Again, the southern one continues to thankfully look a little more disorganized. That's the good news, but I'm still seeing a little bit of red and green that warrants precautionary measures. So if you're up here top Jasper Highlands, so right up in here, Battle Creek Road runs down in here. So I'll draw it here for you because it's not showing up on this map. Battle Creek Road's about right here. Here's I-24. The whole Jasper Highlands property's here. This is Main Street from Kimball to Jasper. Again, I'm doing this for those that are maybe new to the area. Here's Highway 41 going up the mountain. This is where, if there's a possible tornado, that's where it will be. It's a very broad circulation. I want to keep in mind here. It has come down in intensity a little bit. That's some good news. But we cannot take chances with this. So we cannot take chances with this. So take cover if you're in Whitwell and Crossroads. Now, I will have to reiterate here. If you are in South Pitt and if you are in Kimball and down towards Haletown, this is not for you. This is north of you. That's the only part of Marion County that does not need to be sheltered. Now, if you're in Cagle Mountain, same thing. Now, Cagle's not in this. This is to your south. So if you're in Cagle, you are not involved in this tornado warning. This is to your south. So, again, this is where we do have the possibility for a possible tornado. And this goes in effect again until 1:30 a.m. Again, when you see a hook like this, this is why they put out the warning. What you see right here east of Tracy City, and again, we'll get down to street level in just a minute here. I'm waiting for this to get a little bit east. Now, they also included here Palmer area, so you need to be sheltered there. But I'm going to be honest with you here. I think it's about time to probably clear most of Grundy County from this, because the circulation is trending on the Marion side. But we're going to hold off on that for now. So if you're in Palmer, you need to stay sheltered. But if you're in Colmont and Tracy, you're good to go. So Colmont, Tracy, Monteagle, you're good. This is to your east now. You are clear. But if you're in Palmer, you need to stay sheltered, because, again, this could oscillate and try to lift back north. So, again, we got to really keep our eyes on this until this warning passes. So what I'm doing here, this is going to be the main area. So let me show you right here where this path is going. So I'm going to put on a storm track for you. Let me update if we have new updates here. So this is moving east at 40. Now the good news is the circulation continues to become disorganized. So that's the good sign. But we're still going to play safe with this. So this is moving east at 40. Get you an updated path real fast, just when I was thinking about it. Again, Griffith Creek, 117. You got less than 10 minutes. Got to get down that cellar. Doss, 126. Dunlap, 132. This is all within the next 30 minutes. The fan I drew out here, that's the 30-minute time frame. So this is where it's going to be within 30 minutes out here on the leading edge. So it's going to be approaching 111 by that point. And let's check on this other circulation that continues to look weak, but I'm still going to watch it here. There's still a little bit of red and green here, so right over Comfort and Pinhook, so Battle Creek Road area. So heading up the mountain, so here's 41 right here. Here's where the Mountain Mart is, so the Mountain Mart is in the path of this. This is going to go up the mountain to that intersection out there where you go out to Sequatchie Mountain Road. Mountain Mart's about right here. That's where the possible tornado here on the southern storm would be. It's not confirmed, but again, I'm showing you where Doppler radar is showing the possibility of a little bit of spin. So it'd be right in here on the east side of Comfort, so east of I-24, approaching 41, just south of Foster Falls, and it's moving pretty quickly to the east. Now, the further south you go here, and let me make sure I'm not missing anything else down in Jackson here. Okay, good news there. I want to check on this cell real quick. So for those of you in Stevenson and up towards Bridgeport, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. And let me make sure we don't have any rotation in these. Thankfully, no. This is mainly an outflow-dominated line down in here. So for those of you in Jackson County and the top Sand Mountain here, I'm not seeing a tornado concern. But you do have strong straight-line winds. That could be 60 miles an hour. So please be on guard in those areas and just seek shelter. I mean, just play it safe, take cover in those areas. All right, so if you are in Jasper, you're all clear. Your tornado warning has expired. So the circulation down there has weakened to a point where the Weather Service has canceled your tornado warning. Also, if you're in Grundy County, your tornado warning is also canceled. The storm has moved out of that area. Now we can focus on this main area right here, moving in towards Griffith Creek. If you are in Griffith Creek, you've got to be sheltered. The pocket, everybody in the pocket needs to be sheltered. And I'm going to go down to street level here. Pocket Road, and out here towards Pine Hill Cemetery Road, Bridge Creek Road, and we're going to go up here further more. Dogwood Flats Road, TCC Mine Road. Here's Highway 108, Higgins Road, Kilgore Lane, Worley Road, Bluff Road. And it's going to go down here towards Hick Lane. I'm giving you a heads up here because this is moving in. And there's Nunley Road, Lee Morrison Road. There's the Griffith Creek Church, Coal Valley Road, Bearpin Road. And again, this is going to pretty much follow 108 here. There's Kelly Creek. So that's going to be the zone here where if there's a tornado, that's where it's going to go. Now, it looks like it's going to miss downtown Whitwell. So down there by the schools and the Hardys and all that, this is to your north. So you're good to go down there. This is to your north now. And this is also going to miss most of Crossroads to the north. So this circulation is trending more towards Cartwright. So more towards Griffith Creek and Cartwright. If you're in Cartwright, you need to be sheltered. Now, I'll get down to street level once this gets a little closer. But again, all those streets I just called out in Griffith Creek, you need to be in your tornado safe place. And if you're in Palmer, you're all clear. This is to your south. So that's your area of circulation here, moving right across the northern end of Marion County. And there's definitely also some very strong winds in here that could be 50 to 60 miles an hour. Now, this is not the tightest rotation I've ever seen, and that's the good thing. But it's enough to warrant a possible tornado. I know it's been a while since those of you, especially in Marion County, have been put under a tornado warning. I know it's been at least 2 years, from my understanding, from at least the last I remember. It's been a while, so like I say, you got to take this seriously up here in the northern end of the county. So if you're in Jasper and South Bend and Kimball, this is north of you now, and you're no longer included in the warning. North of you. This is mainly a North Whitwell, Griffith Creek, Cartwright, Dunlap issue. If you are in Dunlap, you got to be sheltered. This is where we do have the possibility of a tornado coming up. So right up here towards the overlook. So the polygon goes about as far east as Lewis Chapel Road. So if you're out towards Lewis Chapel, you also need to be sheltered too, because this is where this possible tornado is moving towards. So again, now you do have heavy rain and lightning up here towards Beersheba, Grootley, and eventually up here towards Cagle Mountain, but you do not have a tornado issue up there. And I will double check with velocity to make sure. And that might be another little area trying to form right there. Let me check on the other source, because I really hope that's not another circulation east of Grootley here. Let me make sure that's not. Yeah, looks like we might have another weak circulation trying to form up here. So this would be north of the funeral home right there. So I think that's the Lane Funeral Home area. There's a restaurant that's right there. That's moving. So it's going to move basically right up 399. So there's a little weak area of circulation trying to form a loft. It's going to go right up 399 towards Fredonia and up here towards Cagle Mountain. And if it does hold together, this is going to be a Dunlap issue. So you may have two possible tornadoes here. Not just one, but two that may be affecting Sequatchie County here. So, and again, here's your area of rotation. Here's the new update. Possible tornado here near Griffith Creek. Possible tornado, possibly two possible tornadoes, one north of Palmer and another west of Fredonia Mountain. So there's the other red and green. Let me show you that. Here's one. Here's the other. These are all moving off to the north and east. Here's 111 right in here. This is Highway 127. The Walmart and Dunlap sits about right here. This is where the possible tornado is going in relation to that. And this is where I expect it to go, right up in here. And the other circulation is going to move up here towards Cagle Mountain. It's weaker, but again, it could also ramp up. Remember, these little spin-ups can happen very suddenly along this leading edge, so you got to be aware of that. And again, yep, we got a hook up here. So now we're getting definitely a tornado vortex signature up in here. So if you're anywhere up in here, so Savage Gulf, up here towards Fredonia Road, 399, out here towards the trading post, a developing weak circulation is occurring right now, and it may produce a small tornado at any time. There's no official warning for it, but I'm giving you the heads up considering the history of these storms. Now, Griffith Creek area, this is on top of you right now. Strong winds, possible tornado overhead right now. I haven't had any confirmation, thankfully, of a tornado, but definitely some strong signs of damaging wind and heavy rain. So Kelly Creek Road, and again, heading down towards Kilgore Lane, Worley Road, Bluff Road, and then out here towards Liberty, Cartwright, Frank Tail Road, you're next in line, Cookston Cave Road, West Valley Road, Higdon Road. So this is where they had that fire out there a couple weeks ago, about a week or two ago. So Bryant Road, West Valley Road again, Pickett Crossroads, the Pickett Crossroad area, excuse me. Doss Road, Mahoney Road, and this is all moving out here to the north and east, also towards, let's see here, make sure I'm not missing anybody, and looks like Neal Road. And here's East Valley right over here to the right. So this is going to come up here close to East Valley and Center Point here very soon. But again, I want to reiterate, if you are in Tracy City, if you're in the western two-thirds of Grundy County, your tornado threat's over. If you're in Jasper, same thing. Your threat's done too. So those are the areas that are in the clear right now. So if you're those areas, you do not have a tornado concern anymore. Again, here's the updated velocity scan. Still broad, but enough to show evidence of a possible tornado, and there's still a little bit up here to the north. So let's get down to the street level on this northern circulation here. See a lot of homes up here. Road Drive, Fredonia Road, up here towards Clemens Road, Deerhead. So Deerhead area, you need to be taking cover here. Brush Creek. So this is getting up here by the Save-A-Lot. So this is getting up here by the Save-A-Lot in Dunlap. Here's the intersection. There's the 127.8. So here's right along the 127.8 junction here. That's where there could be the tornado next. And here's the Walmart right here. So the Walmart there in Dunlap's right on the edge of that. Same with Erlanger Sequatchie. So they're both in this polygon. Here's the hotel and the bank that's out that way. You're also involved in this. So Sequatchie County High School, you're also in this. Now the circulation is going to be north of there, but you're in the warning polygon. Again, Fredonia Mountain area, I'm seeing signs of rotation in this area. It's a little tighter actually than the one further south. So there's where your red and green's meeting, and here is Highway 8 and 111 right here. Scenic overlooks right here. Cookie Jar sits about right here. So it's heading towards those areas. And let me put a forward motion on here to give you kind of a sense of where this is moving. And it's moving basically directly northeast. So if you're up here towards Lusk and Palo in Bledsoe County, here's your heads up. You may have another little circulation head your way here in the next few minutes. Again, that's a new scan I think that just came in. So there's the new scan. So if there is a possible tornado, if there is one, that's where it's going to be. So here's one near Bunker Hill. So it's moving east of Grundy County now. So if you're in Grundy County, I'm going to go ahead and give you the all clear completely officially here. So Barkertown points west, you're good. So Palmer, you can get out of your safe place. Same with Grootley. Elm Hill, you need to be sheltered. If you're out here along East Valley Road, you need to be in your safe place. Now Whitwell, you are on the edge of this. I want to keep, but there's also a circulation up here right around the pocket. So Mount Olive Road, be sheltered. Highway 28, so Shirleyton, Red Hill, Cedar Springs, Condra Switch Road. I mean, I can rattle off a lot of different places up here. Highway 28 Market. You all need to be in your tornado safe place right now. The New Hope area. Now, there's two different New Hopes here. This is the New Hope near the Scottsboro County line. This is not the New Hope down toward Nickajack. This is north of that one. This is the New Hope along the Scottsboro County line. So, if there's a possible tornado, it's here. I mean, I'm seeing several different red and green areas up aloft in the air that could produce tornadoes. I mean, I'm seeing 3 of them on here. 2 of them are in Scottsboro County. One approaching Fredonia, one leaving Fredonia and going down towards Save-A-Lot and Dunlap. The other here, up aloft, is moving off Whitwell Mountain. So it's moving off from the pocket and getting ready to cross 108. And it's going to go right down the valley here. So it's going to go right down the mountain into the valley, I should say. So Highway 28 Market, Whitwell Park, all the way up through Cartwright where the Dollar General is. That's going to be the area where the other circulation is. And then also, there may be some other evidences too up in here. Maybe some weak circulation in the southern end of Bledsoe County. So Palo, Lusk, Lee Station. There may be some other evidences too of at least some strong wind, if not some brief circulations in there as well. So these are the main areas right now where you do need to be taking cover at this time. Make sure I'm looking here through some reports here, see if I see anything. Kimball area, the good news is down in Kimball, you're just getting the gust front. So Kimball, Jasper, you do not have a tornado to worry about. Same with most of Jackson County. Oh, well, I just jinxed myself here. We have another tornado warning here for Marshall County, and it looks like it clips the southern end of Jackson. So now let me reiterate this. The only part of Jackson County in this tornado warning is the Langston area. And sections close enough to also be in this. So Langston and section should be taking cover. This tornado warning goes in effect for the next 38 minutes until 2 o'clock. So western Dekalb, northern Marshall, southern Jackson County, there's another possible tornado near New Hope, Alabama, moving your way. And that's a very strong indication of a tornado. And it's moving towards Guntersville Lake. So we have another tornado warning here in our far southern counties here. So this does include far southern Jackson, northern Marshall, not Guntersville or Albertville. This is north of you. In the far western tip of DeKalb County. So this would include areas west of Lakeview and Geraldine. Now in the northeast tip of Jackson County, I don't see a tornado issue there. This is mainly damaging wind up in here. And the good news is that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So, and also, I just looked at the velocity here as you're seeing here. The red and greens have all fallen apart. So, good news here. Tornado warnings have been allowed to expire for Marion and Sequatchie. So, you can all come out of your shelters. And the rotation on these have really, really fallen apart. And look how disorganized it looks now. So, it's a lot more disorganized than it once was. Maybe than it was about 30 minutes ago. So, good news there. If you're in Sequatchie and Marion, just stay away from windows, but you can come out of your safe place. Grundy County, you're clear. You can come out of your safe place. So that's some good news there. Now, if you are in North Georgia, I know I've not been able to talk about those of you here further south and east, like Chattanooga points east, but these storms are heading your way. You will be having these thunderstorms moving in here shortly, hopefully in a weaker state, but again, this is the main area. And the good news is it's actually gotten to the point where it's weak enough to where there's not even a severe thunderstorm warning out for this. That's another very encouraging sign. So we're really starting to see some weakening up here across Marion County and the Sequatchie County and Bledsoe. So some awesome news there. So this is mainly now just a line of heavy rain, gusty wind, and I'm telling you, the tornado threat here is very slim with this. And again, sometimes things change. You know, and as I emphasized earlier with that tornado watch a few hours ago, the reason why they put the watches out here is because of precautionary measures. So let's focus on this one tornado warning we got in our area right now. This is on the southern fringe. Let me stress this. If you're in Scottsboro, you're not involved in this. But if you're in Section and Langston, you need to be taking cover. You have a tornado warning till 2 a.m. Possible tornado near New Hope, Alabama, moving out towards Highway 79, Guntersville Lake, Langston area. you all need to be taking your place of safety here, as we do have a possible imminent tornado. Now, it's very disorganized on this map. I mean, it's getting very hard to see it on here because we got a lot of range folding going in here. But again, if there's a possible tornado, it's right here near the Grant area. And it's moving right down the hill here towards Highway 79 and Guntersville Lake. So this will pass north of Albertville, north of Guntersville. Now, Fort Payne and Rainsville, you're not in this, but I would still stay alert because you may still get a possible tornado there down the road if it holds together. But you'll definitely get some strong straight line wind. Now, up here towards Hollywood and Stevenson and Bridgeport, heavy gusty winds about to move into your area. Yeah, look at the winds in this. Yeah, this is definitely pretty strong right here. So 40, 50, 60 in this. But the good news here, up here further north, see this outflow right here? This is what's saving you from a tornado. This is what's preventing you from getting a tornado down here on Sand Mountain. Now, what we'll have to watch and see to be on the precautionary side here is we'll have to see what happens with this gust front as it climbs up Sand Mountain, because sometimes what can happen here is these gust fronts can get kind of stuck trying to go up the mountain, and that can sometimes allow the storm to kind of catch up, and that's how you can get your brief little spin up sometimes. So I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, that would probably be part of the reason. And we've seen this happen before many times on Sand Mountain, but at this moment, at this very moment, as of 1:26, I do not see a tornado issue from Scottsboro north. No tornadoes in the northern half of Jackson County. I mean, if there is any tornado threat, it's in the far southern end of the county. As I said, it's mainly for Section and Langston. Those are the only parts of Jackson that need to be taking cover. And down here towards Grant area in Marshall County, you're the only area that needs to be taking cover as well. But again, most of Dekalb County is fine in Alabama except for the far western end. But again, let's check on these storms up here further north and make sure we don't have any additional surprises here. And that may be a little bit of broad rotation there, moving across aloft there, going across 28 near Dunlap. But that to me looks more like a strong wind signature. But again, remember the shape that Sewanee storm had. Remember, I kind of called it all the way here when it was back here. I told you that hook was increasing out here near Cowan. And this is where it's went. It's went on this kind of path right here. So it's went a pretty good way. So, but it's weaker, thankfully. So not to the point where it's really concerning. But again, we still got to watch it in case it tries to do another little spin-off. Because it's about, because what this is about to do here is it's about to climb up this elevation in here. And I've seen time and time again. And this is what happened on April 27th, about 14 years ago. The tornado. There was a tornado that touched down right up in here, north and east of Dunlap here, not by much. And then it strengthened as it went up the mountain, interacted with that elevation. So I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen here, and I doubt the same thing will happen. I think it's doubtful. But again, sometimes what can happen here as these storms climb up elevation is the gust front and these can kind of get stuck for a little bit, allow the storm to catch up, and then, yeah, let's just say things kind of go downhill a little. But so far, I'm not seeing signs of that. And this down in here in Marion County is just good soaking rain. Right down here. So Jasper, South Pitt, Kimball, nothing to worry about. Y'all are good. Y'all are safe. I mean, we can all breathe a sigh of relief, thankfully. So no more tornado concerns down in here for Marion County and really for Scotchie County as well. But again, we'll keep an eye on this cell because it's a little heavier right here. But so far, not seeing any signs of anything really suspicious. But also, we now have a new significant weather advisory here, so this is also a positive sign of weakening. This is for northern Day County and northern Walker County. This goes until, let's see here, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. This is for 40 to 50 mile an hour wind, frequent cloud to ground lightning. I can't even speak. Frequent cloud to ground lightning and heavy rain. That's a mouthful. This is radar indicated. It says a line of strong thunderstorms was along a line extending from Cartwright to Jasper to near Bass. Bass is up north of Stevenson in Jackson County, and it's moving east at 35. So those of you in Fairview, Stevensville, Lookout Mountain, Chattanooga Valley, New England, Morganville, Trenton, Hooker, Coal City, Wildwood, and Lakeview, you do have a strong thunderstorm with a strong wind moving your way. And this is for this severe thunderstorm that's moving out of Jackson County. That's moving through Jackson County right now. And I'm going to be honest with you here when I look at this velocity here again. There are hot spots in here of some stronger wind, but they seem to be declining below severe levels as opposed to going up. Could that change? Of course, but right now I do see more of a weakening trend continuing with this line. And there's nothing severe on this Tennessee side anymore. So we can X out these tornado warnings that are up in here and just put big red X's on them because they're not in effect anymore. So Pikeville, y'all are good. Down here through Dunlap, Jasper, Whitwell. And if you're all the way back here watching from Coffee County or Moore County, feel free to go to sleep. You are in the clear. You guys are good, and you do not have any more severe weather issues. You just have rain. Just all this is behind this. You get behind this gust front here, your severe threat ends. The moment the gust front passes you, just like that, your severe threat's over. And as this line continues to progress here further east, I do expect it to continue to hopefully weaken more as it continues that eastward weaker movement. So let's get back down here to this one tornado warning here, because I know this is on the very southern fringe of our area, but there is a sign some rotation here moving over the Grant area as well as Campbell Mill, Buck Snort, Pine Island subdivision, Preston Site subdivision, Preston, Guntersville Lake, Goodwin subdivision, the Macklemore plant area, Langston, Crossroad, Hancock Crossroads, Macedonia. A little bit of rotation heading in those areas. Now, this is not an area of rotation up here south of Scottsboro. What that is right there is what we call range. It's pretty much inaccurate data. I forgot the term. I think it's side lobe contamination. That's the term. And this is side lobe here from the radar. So this is actually a computerized error basically right here. So this is just strong wind right here moving across the southern end of Jackson County. And I'll be honest, they'll probably let that tornado warning go pretty quickly because I am not seeing a tornado in that. I think it's very weak at this point. But again, here's your gust front right here that I've been mentioning here. This is the gust front. So what's happening here is it's cutting off the energy to these thunderstorms with time as they progress to the east. So hopefully this will continue to be the case, and we'll continue to get in these any of these little circulations transform, then get cut off by this outflow and end anything. And that's what I'm seeing also up here as these storms move up from the Scotchie Valley. So again, definitely seeing some strong wind in here. So eastern Marion County up through eastern Scotchie County and the Bledsoe and Ray. Gusty wind and heavy rain, but nothing more than that. So in other words, the only areas that have warnings right now are for Jackson, Marshall, and DeKalb counties in Alabama. And we have this one. I'll actually highlight this a little bit better. I'll highlight this in the orange that the warning polygon's in so we know the difference here. Here's Jackson, DeKalb, and Marshall severe thunderstorm warning. And here's the significant weather advisory that's lower than a severe thunderstorm warning. So it's below severe levels, but an advisory. That's for northern Dade and northern Walker counties until 3 a.m. Eastern. So there's your current alerts. And, of course, you got this one tornado warning down here around Guntersville Lake and Grant. But as I said earlier, I think that's about to... I think they're going to get rid of that one here pretty soon, because that does not show any kind of impressive indication of rotation, at least from what I see. I see a lot of what we call side lobe contamination in the velocity product, and I've been noticing that a lot on a lot of storms the last few days. The velocity has been getting kind of contaminated a little bit here, so in the data. So, I mean, it could be from all the rain, because you got to remember, these radars here, they have to go through all of this rain. So what's happening here, because here in the high top area is getting all this heavy rain, the radar's having to scan through all of this heavy rain to even get down in here and to be able to even detect anything down in here, at least as far as rotation's concerned. So that process could also be interfering with this just a little bit. So again, if there were to be a spin up here, it'd be over the Grant area, but as I said, it just doesn't really stick out to me as much. But still, if you're in Langston, out here towards Section, and down here towards Guntersville Lake State Park, let's just play it safe and wait this warning out. This goes in effect for the next 25 minutes. Just write it out, and just as a course of least regret, just be in your safe place. Just play it safe. Now, I will say this. If you are up here towards Sand Mountain, you got strong damaging winds heading your way, but I'm not seeing a tornado there. As long as this outflow boundary can stay ahead of this rain, you will not have to worry about a tornado. That I can promise you. As long as outflow stays ahead of this heavy rain, you will not have to worry about tornadoes. Again, we're getting some torrential rain up and down the Scotchie Valley here, but this is not what it was earlier. Remember earlier we had the tornado warnings, not anymore. In fact, I will go ahead and show you what that looked like earlier out towards the Sewanee area. See if I can get that pulled up on here. It won't let me do it on here, but I can actually show that to you and show you what this circulation looked like, because that's where it first originated. See, it came out of Winchester here, and then notice around Cowan it started to spinning right here, and I'll show you right there is where it started spinning, right over Cowan. And then it kind of cycled, and then a new circulation formed where that little hand is. And then the warning was triggered right there for Franklin County first, then Marion and Sequatchie followed. And then the other circulation fired up here. This was just before 1 a.m. The other circulation fired near Monteagle very suddenly, moved over Tracy City. The southern one weakened, and then eventually the northern one eventually weakened with time, and here we are now, and it's at a much weaker state. So that's kind of how it all started here. It started as that little circulation I was telling you about pretty much right before the warnings issued over Cowan, and then from there it just escalated. But thankfully it's de-escalated to the point where we don't have any other major concerns anymore. Just some gusty wind, heavy rain, thunder, lightning. And they did let that tornado warning go as I figured. So Marshall, Jackson, Dekalb, you do not have a tornado anymore. You don't have a threat of a tornado. This tornado warning has been canceled. So now the only warnings we have right now are severe thunderstorm warnings for Sand Mountain. That's the good news. So Sand Mountain area, you guys are all clear, at least from the tornado threat for right now. But again, could that change, of course? But right now, as long as the south flow boundary stays ahead, you'll be good. Now, Chattanooga Metro, get ready. You're about to get some very heavy rain and some gusty winds here shortly. So Cleveland, you'll be getting this too. Soddy Daisy, watch out. You'll be getting some of this heavy rain as well. And eventually out here towards Stale Creek, Bakewell, Dayton, Spring City, Red Bank, Lookout Valley, Lookout Mountain, Trenton, get ready. You'll have some wind and rain moving your way shortly. Fort Oglethorpe, this is about to move in. Actually, I'm going to change this setting here so that way we'll get more communities on here. It'll make more sense. So let me put on the other presentation. And there we go. So there's more communities that are popping up. It'll take a minute for the radar to load. There we go. All right, here's more communities on here. So there's Griffith Creek. Worst is over. So if you are from the Sequatchie Valley and west, your severe threat's over. You can go back to sleep. I know. So yeah, no need to worry anymore. Again, I'm gonna answer a few questions on here since we don't have anything major ongoing here. So what's McMinnville looking like? You guys are in the clear. Severe threat's over. You just got rain up there. Dunlap is in the clear also. Yes. Just know, collectively, 1.3K people got a text and woke up and searched this page. Oh, I just noticed that. Thank y'all for tuning in, and that's a record, I think, for this page, actually. So, thank y'all for tuning in. That really means a lot. Stevenson has very high winds. No confirmed tornado in Whitwell. There was no confirmed tornado. I didn't see any official or anybody confirm anything, but there was rotation on radar. It was just aloft. Let's see here. Very heavy rain and wind on Suck Creek. Down 41 and Pryor Ridge doesn't have power. I'm actually getting ready to check on that. So what I'm going to check out here behind the scenes here and see what the power outage situation's like. So again, if you're in Jackson and DeKalb and Marshall counties, you got a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-an-hour winds. So make sure y'all are staying away from windows. But I'm not seeing any indications of a tornado or anything like that there. So yeah, there's definitely some localized power outages I'm seeing here. The outage doesn't look too big. It's mainly in looks like it says here around Grundy County. It's saying so. Yeah, it looks like Monteagle, Tracy City area. It says here 122 are out in Grundy, 32 in Marion, and 2 in Sequatchie. So yeah, we do have some power outages here locally. So that's the last number I can check on. So yeah, but that's the way I'm seeing it there, at least from what I'm reading here on the SVC thing on my phone. And that actually went up a little bit to 159. It said on there. So yeah. So that's the situation with that. That's the power outage situation. So again, if you do come across any tree in the morning in your travels to church or wherever you may need to go, if you do come across a fallen tree or a branch, please, at least turn around and find a different way to go, because that way, you don't damage your vehicle or anything like that. Just turn around. Also, considering we're having so much rain here, we're gonna have a lot of rain here over the next several hours, we should say. If there's any ponding on any roads, you definitely want to avoid that, because again, any water over the roads, that is dangerous. So that's just something that we got to keep in mind here. Okay, what about Bridgeport? There is no tornado warning in Bridgeport. Let me stress this. There's no tornado warning in Bridgeport. That's just a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's for strong wind. And oh boy, let's look at this little wind gust right here I just saw. Oh wow, look at this near Stevenson. 60 in here. That's this bright yellow you see here, south and west of Stevenson. That's a wind gust there showing up at 50 to 60. So right over the Carnes community, Kyles. These are all county roads in here. So there's 39, 33, Fackler, Mud Creek area. So that's right out there by getting close to the Hollywood restaurant and all that out in here. So Crow Creek, where that gas station is, right out there by 72. This is where the stronger wind's going over. And then the movement of that, I'm going to have to edit this to 7 frames so we don't go all the way back to 2 hours out. But this is where that wind is going, and it's just slowly propagating towards 72. So south side of Stevenson, get ready for some big wind. I mean, you've already probably had some, but this is about to get stronger here on the south side of town. So here's the 117 exit right there. So there's the bridge that goes right over the river. This is where that wind is going. It's going to go basically right to the south-southeast. And eventually it's going to head up towards Flat Rock and out here towards Higdon, Eider, Shiloh area. Past south of Bryant. It's going to miss Bryant by a good bit. But, again, these areas are all in line for some strong straight-line wind. Again, these are at severe levels. I mean, this is the only part of the line that's actually at severe levels right now. All this stuff up in here, and I'll check this out up here on the Tennessee side from Ray County down Walden's Ridge here to Marion County. This is non-severe here. So Lewis Chapel, Flat Top Mountain, heavy rain, gusty wind, but nothing more. Etna Mountain, Haletown, down to Whiteside, heavy rain, gusty wind, but nothing more than that, thankfully. So this is going to be the main area where we have some heavy rain, gusty wind, but no tornado. But again, the main area of concern right now is this heavy wind core that's basically moving right across Jackson County right now. So this is going to be the main area right now. So basically Pisgah, you're next in line to see this. Dutton, Section, Henniger, Sylvania, Powell, Rainsville, Hammondville, Valley Head, Eider, Yorks Mill, Rosalie, Schrader, Sulphur Springs, Shiloh area, Higdon, Floral Crest. South of Bryant is where the heaviest wind will be. South of there, south of Bridgeport. So basically, from downtown Stevenson south, you'll be having some strong wind. Now, if you're in Dade and Walker counties, you want to watch this because this is also heading your way. But it does appear that this very heavy wind core, and I'll put on a different color here to see this because this will be easier seen. Right here where this lightning bolt is, out here west of 72, that's where the stronger wind is going, and it's going to pass something like this. So this is going to go right atop Sand Mountain. And it may knock out power, it may knock down trees. That's how strong that wind would be. So if you're in that area, you need to be making sure that you're you're away from windows and all that. Whoa, it says here, high winds in Jasper are transformer blue just outside our home. Yikes. Coming down in South Pitt, heavy downpour, Spring City. Yes, Spencer can go to sleep. You guys are good. Bledsoe's good to sleep as well. Scotchie, New Hope, Loop area, you guys are good. You're in the clear from the severe threat. The worst is south of you now. Hard rain in Hilltown. Chattanooga, yes, Chattanooga Metro is about to get some heavy rain and gusty wind here shortly, but no tornadoes, thankfully. Signal Mountain, hard rain and high winds just started. This person says just received a tornado warning alert from a different app for Kimball. That was probably a delayed alert. Yeah, I got to watch out for some of those apps. So there's some apps out there that are bad. We'll just put it that way. There's some bad apps out there. So if you're getting any kind of like delayed warnings or anything like that in Marion County or wherever, please ignore them right now because they're not valid. And I can show you right here. There is no warning of any kind in Marion County right now. You just got a tornado watch, not a warning. Got the watch. But as I said earlier, if you're in Marion County, points west, you're good to go. So yeah, Bledsoe, you're good to sleep. Let's see here. Whitwell has power at the car wash right now at Castles. Are expecting anything bad in Rising Fawn and Trenton? Yeah, you'll get some heavy rain and some gusty wind for sure. It's a little uncertain to see if this heavy wind core is going to make it over Sand Mountain or not. But if it does, your winds will go a little higher. But I would definitely plan on some gusty winds and heavy rain here coming in soon. Is Dayton okay? Yes. Non-severe storms. Let's check on Dayton here real fast. Yeah, just non-severe storms, just some lightning and heavy rain and gusty wind. Nothing big there. Let's make sure. I don't have anything else. Yeah, there's no tornado warning in Jackson County right now. There's no tornado warning in Jackson County or Marion County at this time. Those have both been allowed to expire. I mean, I'll double check the system here real quick, and okay, that's correct. So there's no tornado warning for any part of our area right now. All we got are just some strong thunderstorms with lightning, heavy rain, and gusty winds. But we do have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Now, these two severe thunderstorm warnings do have that tornado possible tag on them. And what that means here, and I forgot to explain this earlier when those storms were back out in Lincoln County, was what that means is when you have a tornado possible tag in a severe thunderstorm warning, while it's not a formal tornado warning, the National Weather Service office, at least in this case it would be Huntsville, they believe that there's still a chance that along the leading edge of that line there could still be a brief spin up that could occur very quickly. Now that's the thing with these systems, for example, like the one earlier up near Cowan and Sewanee, it developed very fast. I mean, it was very quick. I mean, I'll be honest myself, there's no way I could be able to warn on something like that happens that suddenly. I mean, that's how quick these little spin-ups occur. They happen very fast, and they can go underneath the radar, and they be in and out very quickly. So that's why we have to respect damaging winds, because even if it's not a tornado warning, like, for example, Sand Mountain, you don't have a tornado warning, but you have a severe thunderstorm warning for damaging straight-line winds, you still want to respect that and treat that like a tornado warning, because you never know when there's a chance it may spin up in something. But let's check out some of these hot wind cores here right now that I'm seeing. Look at this. Now we're seeing up to 67 in here, moving over the Fackler area. So Fackler area, there looks to be some very strong wind there. So Russell Mountain heading down towards Wanville, Yucca over there towards Cedar Grove, Crow Creek. So this is going right around the Crow Creek area. Heading down towards Mud Creek. So down towards the Hollywood Restaurant and all that down in here towards Bellefonte. Some very strong winds moving into that area right now. Strawberry Plains, that is out of my coverage area. That's up towards Knoxville, but I will check real quick here. I'm going to check behind the scenes. I'm going to keep it on the local area for now, but you do have heavy rain and gusty winds heading your way up that way, but so far they're not severe. It's all the way back in Roane County still, so it'll be a little while before it gets out there. Probably about another hour, I would say, roughly. Rock Springs, this is heading your way. You do have some gusty winds and heavy rain heading your way over the next hour or so. Lakeside, good to sleep, yes. Worst is to your south. I mean, it's going to get heavy. You're going to have heavy rain, wind, and gusty wind and lightning, but you're not going to have a severe thunderstorm. Now, severe thunderstorm is winds of 58 miles an hour or greater, and I'm not seeing any indication of wind that's higher than that right now. Heavy rain, Evansville, Tennessee just started. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything else. Tracy City, you guys are on the backside of all this now. It's just rain there. Saudi Daisy, you guys are good. You got heavy rain and gusty wind moving in, but nothing more than that. So some good news there. That's all you'll see is heavy rain and gusty wind, and no warnings in effect for Hamilton County and no warnings on the Tennessee or Georgia sides at this time. All the current warnings are on the Alabama side and head down towards Jackson County. So yeah, Jackson, Dekalb, you still have your severe thunderstorm warning for the next 25 minutes. So this goes into effect here until, let me get you a time on that, 2:15. So 2:15 for this southern one. This one's going to expire in 10 minutes. But I got a feeling they might extend this if these winds continue ramping up. Now this actually ramped down a little bit, so that's good. So, but still getting some indications here of 50 to 60 mile an hour winds in this bright area where you see all the yellow and red here. And they just added Dade and Walker under a severe thunderstorm warning. So it is enough here to warrant a severe thunderstorm warning for those of you in Dade and Walker counties. This is going to go into effect for the next 40 minutes. So let me get you the update on that. So this goes into effect until 3:30 Eastern Time. So let me get you the latest here. Doppler radar indicated 3:30. Severe thunderstorms located along the line extending from Hooker to near Stevenson to near Langston, moving southeast at 40. Hazard is 60 mile an hour wind gusts, and here are the locations that are in the path of that storm: Naomi, Rising Fawn, Noble, Lafayette, Coal City, Stevensville, Linwood, New England, Morganville, Trenton, Hooker, Cloudland Canyon, Cooper Heights, Kensington, Wildwood, Chickamauga, and Chattanooga Valley. So, excuse me, I'll take a sip of water there real quick. Those are the areas that are in the path of that dangerous thunderstorm. It also says here, for your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. No tornado in that, but strong straight line wind moving up Sand Mountain. So far, I'm not seeing rotation down here. So far, this is just mainly a strong push of wind, or a better term would be a wall of wind that's moving to the south and east, and it's moving down pretty quickly. So yeah, so if you're in, so yeah, I just saw a comment here, is Dunlap in the clear? Yes. So yeah, Dunlap, y'all are good. Bryant, yeah, you guys are getting heavy rain and wind there. So you still remain under that severe thunderstorm for the next 10 minutes, but things should be lighting up here, lining up there pretty soon. I mean, you got more heavy rain moving in, but the warning is going to expire here in about 10 minutes for you guys. South Pittsburgh is South Pittsburgh's north of the warnings. No warnings for South Pittsburgh. This staying south of there. Another round at 5. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't see another round moving in. I mean, the models this morning were showing another round moving in around sunrise, but thankfully that's changed. So this is actually going to be, the way it's looking right now, this is actually going to be one and done. So that's the good news. This will be one and done and out of here, so that will be good. I mean, we'll have a lot of rain behind this that will continue for several hours here, probably for a good part of the day, at least the morning. But at least this will be more one and done as opposed to what it was looking like earlier this morning. So, or shall I say actually yesterday morning, because now it's Sunday morning. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and say yesterday. But, yeah, I do think this will be more one and done. This is a one and done deal. Severe threat gets out, and then we just have rain behind this. Rain and some occasional thunder and lightning. Now, behind this, if you know, I'll pan this out. You'll notice back here behind all this, there are more flash flood warnings that cover up a good chunk of Tennessee. I mean, a very wide portion of middle and west Tennessee. I mean, and earlier yesterday, Memphis had a flash flood emergency. They had like 6 to 12 inches of rain. Ridiculous amounts of rain. We will not get that here. That I can tell you. We will not get that much rain. But again, most of us, we're going to pick up 1 to 3 as forecasted, and then there may be some isolated spots that may get a little bit more. And that's where the flash flooding concerns would be. Speaking of rainfall, all the heavier rain so far has been in our northwestern tier. So let's pull some query on this. Yeah, 1 to 3 for sure up in here from Coffee County, Warren County, Lincoln, Moore, Bedford County, Marshall, Tennessee, Giles, Murray, Rutherford counties. That's where they have the flash flood warnings up in here. And then down here further south, it's been a little lighter, but the rain amounts are starting to catch up a little bit. We're now getting like a ½ inch to an inch in Marion County, roughly around an inch in Bledsoe. Grundy's kind of divided in half here, but again, about a ½ inch to an inch and a half. Same with Franklin County. So most of the area is going to pick up, at the minimum, the low end of the 1 to 3. In some areas, will pick up the higher end. Now, let's check on the Chattanooga Metro here. Definitely some very heavy rain moving in. But again, this is much, much, much weaker than it was earlier when it was producing the tornado warnings. So that's the good news. No tornado warnings. This is moving down here towards East Ridge, the airport, heading up towards Hickson, Tyner, East Brainerd, Ottawa, Signal area up towards Saudi. Sail Creek, you're in the thick of it right now. Lakeside, you're getting ready to get some heavy rain shortly. And then down here in this severe thunderstorm warning area, so Rock Spring, Lafayette, Kensington, Cooper Heights, down through Rising Fawn, Trenton, Coal City, Wildwood area, Lookout Mountain. This is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 34 minutes until 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time. That's 2:30 Central Time. So this is where we could have 60-mile-an-hour winds. Speaking of which, let's look at the velocities. It's overdoing it over here for sure, over here towards Lookout Mountain. That's range folding. But the front edge of the wind, and let me get you a good approximate from the wind here. Again, I have to double check and make sure I'm drawing it out right. It's right here. So the leading edge of the wind is basically moving into Trenton right now. So let me correct that because that just updated. So right in here, that's the leading edge of the winds. Moving through Dade County, moving into Walker, so moving to Top Lookout right now. And basically right down through the heart of Sand Mountain is where these strong winds are now moving across, the gust front. And the winds behind this, thankfully, are starting to slack off. In other words, they're also starting to weaken. As I said earlier, I do expect with time, as these storms move east and southeast, I do think that they will weaken. Now let me make sure we don't have any other little rotational areas. I'm not seeing any up in here in Hamilton County, but I am seeing something down here. Down towards Rainsville here on Sand Mountain we may need to watch. Right here. See how it's bulging out? I was saying earlier about this thing going up Sand Mountain here. There may be a little bit of a spin here. Let me check velocity here, and I can actually check that on this source. Show you what that looks like. Yeah, there may be some, it's weak, but there may be something trying to form right there. Could be a little spin-off maybe. Close to Powell and Rainsville. And there may also be something trying to form near Henniger. Yep, right on the gust front. That may be what we call a gust NATO. That kind of resembles almost a gust NATO signature in a way. But again, there could be something, at least some very strong wind, downburst wind. Again, 59, that's a severe gust. So get ready for some very heavy wind down there towards Hammondville and Valleyhead. That's heading your way. But again, that could also be like a little mini, weak little circulation. Let's check on storm relative. And yeah, definitely a very strong indication of gusty wind. That goes all the way down into Marshall County too. So Guntersville, Albertville, you're involved in this too. I mean, you're involved in the gusty wind. But again, we got to watch this little thing right here. Moving towards the Powell area. So Northeast Alabama Community College, heading down towards Rainsville and Sylvania. Got a little bit of a hook right here, right on the leading edge of the gust front. That's what I don't like about it, because it's actually caught up with the gust front. In other words, and now it's trying to spin. So definitely some heads up here down here towards Fort Payne and areas in between. You may have a little bit of a circulation there aloft. But for one thing you'll have for sure is strong wind. That's a promise. You'll have heavy rain, strong wind, like everybody else has pretty much, but you may also have the outside chance of a brief spin up. Now, checking up here across Hamilton County real quick, not seeing any major wind indicators, but again, it could be some 40 to 50 in this, moving across the Chattanooga area basically. So here's 153, Highway 58, I-75, some very heavy wind and rain moving through those areas. So Ray County, Meigs County, some more heavy rain and gusty wind moving into those areas. And this is all going to eventually also impact the Knoxville area too. So if you're up towards the Knoxville area, if you're watching from there, you got some heavy rain and wind coming your way, but thankfully nothing severe. Down here to further south here, let me check and see if we have a new scan on this velocity. And as I said, the signatures continue to come down, thankfully, on the wind. The wind continues to lessen in this. That's a great sign here. Hopefully this continues here, and hopefully we can expire these warnings. But they still run in effect through at least the next 30 minutes. So As long as these warnings are in effect, we're going to stay on here and then once the warnings expire, then I'll sign off once we don't have any warnings here. But right now, this is the main area right now. So Dade County, Walker County, mainly Sand Mountain, and Jackson County mostly. So Jackson County is mainly for Sand Mountain. If you're from 72 and west, you're good. So Bridgeport, Stevenson, Scottsboro west, you're good to go. You can go to sleep. Worst is to your east now. You don't have anything else to worry about. But from Sand Mountain and east is where we have the strongest and even the more severe thunderstorms. And I'm still keeping an eye on this little circulation down here towards Powell that's still trying to develop here. Yeah, there it is. There it is right there. So there's a little weak circulation there heading right down Highway 35 there, head down towards Rainsville, and eventually down towards Shiloh, Pine Ridge, Sylvania, Fife, and eventually the Fort Payne area. So it'd be this area right here that I'm watching, right over Northeastern Alabama Community College, moving to the south, kind of east-southeast, at about 40 to 50 miles an hour. So again, very broad little circulation there, and I'm not seeing anything else up towards Henniger as much anymore, but definitely seeing some strong wind there. And that's going to go right up through Eider, Yorks Mill, Deerhead Cove, Old Blevins Mill, Overlook, Shiloh area, Higdon, Gass, Avens, Cedar Hill, Stewarttown, Union, Rise and Fawn. Get ready for some, it's pretty much on top of you right now. You're getting at least the gust front down there in Rise and Fawn, Georgia, but the heavy rain stuff's going to follow. Now, remember, out ahead of this, and just when I mentioned that circulation near Powell, we have a new tornado warning. So here's your new tornado warning here. This does include the southeastern tip of Jackson County, but this does not include any of the major cities in Jackson County. So Scottsboro to Bridgeport, this is not for you. So right when I caught that circulation, they now just issued a tornado warning here. So this goes in effect here for the next 43 minutes. So this goes until 2:45. So let me get you that information here from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. It says at 2:01, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Powell or near Rainsville, and it's moving east at 40 miles an hour. This dangerous storm will be near Sylvania, Powell, and Rainsville around 2:05 a.m. and Fort Payne around 2:10 a.m. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Dutton, Pine Ridge, Mentone, DeSoto State Park, Valley Head, Hammondville, and Little River Canyon. So this is the area that has the tornado warning. So southeast Jackson County, the northern half of Dekalb County, including Fort Payne, take cover in Fort Payne, you have a tornado warning in effect. And it's for this circulation out here near Powell, so passing pretty close to the Northeast Alabama Community College, and there may be a possible tornado there. Not seeing anything on debris, thankfully. But this is where the circulation is. So let's get down here into the streets. So Broad Street, Griffin Street, Main Street, so that's Highway 35, Collier Circle, Wade Street, Old Toki Sushi Steakhouse down towards Rainsville, Pope, Rainbow Avenue, Mitchell Drive, down here towards, let's see here, Ranch Road, Jackson Street, White Street, everybody in these areas, Church Avenue, McCurdy Avenue, all these areas are in the path. So George Wallace Drive, Toro's Canteen and Grill, these are all the areas in Rainsville that are in the path of this. Now Sylvania, you're on the north side of this, but areas up here around Oak Grove Road, down towards county, all the county highways in here. So there's County Highway 570, Highway 75. So there's Highway 75, the main thoroughfare up here across Sand Mountain. And then down here towards Marshall Road, County Roads 515, Plainview. So this is getting pretty close to Plainview School. So if you're down around Plainview School, you need to be taking cover down there. Fife, you're kind of on the edge of this, but there's also another little weak circulation in your way. So if you're in Fife, you need to take cover there too. Again, possible tornado in that area. Right along the leading edge of the gust front. Probably another one of those little gust-nados. It could easily be one of those. But either way, there's still spin-ups, and they have to be respected. So Again, the possible circulation here is moving right down Highway 35 towards Rainsville, right towards downtown. Lance Crossroads also in the path of this. And again, right down the main strip here in Rainsville here, right down the main thoroughfare. Highway 35 and Highway 73 in there. You need to be in your tornado safe place. 75 I should say, but still regardless. Out here towards Fort Payne, Douglas, Wills Valley, Fort Payne Airport, Pine Ridge, out there where where the Walmart and all that is out there. Right there at that exit as you go south towards Gadsden. That's where this possible tornado is going next. Looks like it's gonna miss Hammondville and Valley Head and Mentone here to the south, but it's still close enough to where y'all need to be in your tornado safe place up in that area. So again, I would still treat it safe up here, and remember, and James Spann talks about this all the time in Alabama, and and rightfully so. Respect the polygon. That's what you need to do if you're up here towards Hammondville and Valley Head. You need to respect that polygon and just stay sheltered. Now, the good news here, the rotation does appear to be weakening. So some good news there. I'm not seeing any signs of anything wild there yet. Now, if you're in Scottsboro, as I said earlier, this is not a threat for Scottsboro. This is to your south and east. You just got rain, just rain there. Nothing a major instance there. Has the wall hit Sand Mountain and Trenton yet? Yes. There's definitely some heavy rain and gusty winds moving up that way. So moving right across Dade County, and it's now moving into Walker County. So those areas are in the line for some heavy rain, gusty wind. So Lafayette area, you guys will be having heavy rain and gusty winds down the road as well. Heavy rain and heavy wind in Birchwood. Let's see here. Heard another tornado warning in Sequatchie. No, there's no additional tornado warning. So I'll double check. Yeah, there's no tornado warnings, thankfully, on the Tennessee side. So yeah, there's nothing I see on the 5 a.m. storms anymore. I mean, it does appear the model guidance here. And let me tell you, the model guys hasn't done really great here today. I mean, it's been off by a good bit. It didn't really catch up until earlier this past evening. So, and actually what I'll do here is behind the scenes here, since we have this tornado warning, I'm going to keep that center of the screen here for those of you on Sand Mountain watching. I'm going to actually go through real quick and see if we got anything of note. Yeah, I mean, there is a possibility that we might have more rain thunderstorms. I'll actually go back out here real quick and make sure we don't have anything else I'm missing. No, I'm not seeing anything else. So at this time, I just don't see any other additional big lines moving through. And I think this right here will zap a lot of that energy anyway. So really from this point forward, after this exits here, this is really going to be mainly more of a heavy rain and potential flash flooding scenario. That's the way this is looking. But right now, let me get back to the circulation here and check on it here. This is going to move. This is right now. It's right here south of Powell, so northeast of the community college. It's right there. This is the area of main concern. Here's downtown Rainsville. This is like a minute away. I don't know if it's even that. I mean, it's like seconds away. So those areas need to be in their safe place. So Plainview High School, you're next up in line. This is going to be the main area of concern here. So this is also going to pass on the north side of Fort Payne, and let's look at the direction and make sure. And looks like it's curving to the right here. So north side of Fort Payne, north of downtown, you need to be sheltered. But even in downtown Fort Payne, I would still be sheltered here just to be on the safe side until this warning expires. So again, this is where we do have a possible tornado here, right over the Powell area. And let me put on back on reflectivity. It'd be in this area right here where I have the hand. So I'll put that right there in the center so that you'll see where the area where I'm seeing where there could be a tornado. Right in here. And again, there's a new scan. Nothing much changed there. It just moved just a little bit there. This tornado warning remains in effect for the next 35 minutes until 2:45 Central Time, and that will be 3:45 Eastern Time. And this is the only tornado warning in the entire area. So as I zoom out here, these are the only warnings we got. So Marshall, Dekalb, the Sand Mountain side of Jackson County, and then for all of Dade and most of Walker counties. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings that go into effect through the next at least 20 minutes for this warning up here in Dade and Walker. This severe thunderstorm warning for Sand Mountain and down towards Dekalb County and Marshall, that goes into effect through it for almost an hour, so till 3 a.m. So, again, this is the main area of concern right now. No other areas are of concern, but I will check on these storms here real quick. Moving across Harrison and the eastern half of Hamilton County. Very heavy sail. Could be some pea-sized hail in here. Moving over towards Bartleball. And this is the area where we were watching that circulation back on March 15th that went over. But thankfully nothing of that nature here. Just some heavy rain, gusty wind moving out here towards Ooltewah. So Ooltewah, get ready. Volkswagen, that's moving overhead. Snow Hill area, and eventually that's going to be heading out towards Cleveland. So if you're watching from Cleveland, get ready for some heavy rain and gusty wind. That'll be heading your way within the next 20, 30 minutes or so. And then up here towards Meigs County. Meigs County is getting hammered pretty much throughout the whole county. Again, this is going to be up here towards Big Spring. There's downtown Decatur. There's 10 Mile. And then up from there, storms will be moving into the Knoxville area shortly. But then back down here, Marshall County. Heavy rain, gusty wind, but that looks a lot more disorganized than it did earlier. And then right in here, let's check out on our little possible tornado here. It has weakened substantially. So some good news there. So I'm no longer seeing signs of any major tornado here moving across Sand Mountain here. Right around this Rainsville area. It is weakened substantially. Now, I'm still seeing a signature, of course, for strong winds, but even those have come down quite a bit over the last few minutes. So that's some great news there. At least we're seeing some signs of this. As this line moves further east in the air that's just not as favorable, and we get further south here away from the better dynamics as well, that's allowing that thunderstorm